telefan listeners. If you're drowsy, sluggish, or feeling fatigued, you're about to get your afternoon boost. With Tony Gwynn Jr.
You know, people like to be outraged.
Chris Ello.
I'm not a foo-foo guy.
And Matt Skraby.
See, I like Paul Skeens, the baseball player. Hate the media coverage.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
Oh, but how's the voice? Yeah, it's there. It's there, Skraby.
It's like 75% there, but it is there.
It's 75% there.
It's there.
I was a little worried, though, because, I mean, I've been feeling much better, obviously, but until the microphone, goes
Cracked.
on and you have to project,
Yeah.
you got to make sure it's there. The voice is back. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, and all of the stuff you shot into my body, whatever whatever it was.
Strangely, the listening audience had quite the news updates on your.
They were interested,
your
evidently,
shots.
in what I was doing.
I don't
so.
know that they were, but
You
Sam
were.
and I were very interested because you said you got a cortisone shot for your throat.
Right.
And so Sam and I thought that meant that you had to get a cortisone shot
In your throat. Ooh, boy,
but
that would hurt.
it didn't happen that way.
No, got a couple of one in each cheek, as they say. And Dr. Anderson got me back in business. So I broadcast the Aztec women's basketball game this morning. So I'm feeling pretty good about things, Skraby. As we
Did
said,
they win?
I
didn't even ask you.
Yeah, slightly. They
Slightly.
played
It's a yes or no.
Well, and I tell you the final score. They played a tiny college in Anaheim called Bethesda.
Okay.
107-36.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I said, they kind of won.
I thought you meant like they're going to scrape by or something.
No, they did not scrape by. So they're 9-1. The Aztec men are rolling as well. We'll talk about their win over Fresno State the other night. But, yeah, it's good to be back. Sorry I missed a day there. Not much I could do about it. Thanks to Sam Levitt for filling in. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby today. Tony Gwynn Jr. is idle, but we'll take you through until 6 o'clock. And basically what you have today is a talk show host who thinks that the golden at-bat rule is stupid.
Oh, you have two of them.
Unlike the guy we had yesterday.
Sam Levitt?
Sam Levitt, who you said he likes it.
Well, he tweeted,
What?
and I didn't know if I wanted to really get into it, but we did, and he said that he can understand why the rule is... He can understand the rule.
What? Okay, what is
in
his...
terms of...
Because I don't get it at all.
Putting baseball on par with other sports when it comes to excitement, that would produce excitement. And...
Would it, though?
It would. It probably would. Can you imagine if we've used this example, but can you imagine if Fernando Tatis Jr. came up with the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and he needed to they pulled him off the bench instead of Bryce or Brandon Lockridge? It's Fernando. He hits a home run, walk off, boom. It's exciting.
How about if Brandon Lockridge hits a walk-off home run? How good is that?
But that's not likely compared to putting Fernando there.
I think it's
And
absurd.
by the way, Sam doesn't say he wants this.
Well, I'm just trying to think who likes it and why they like it.
Well, Rob Manfred's on the defense now.
Yeah, well, he better backpedal quick.
He said he was asked about it again, and he said, "Hey, it's not coming to baseball anytime soon, but it is something that we have talked about."
Well, stop talking about it.
I think it's scarier that they're even talking about it.
So stupid. Look, I mean, the point that you can strike out Shohei Ohtani in the bottom of the ninth and he can come up again makes no sense.
I don't know if that
or the
works.
fact that Shohei Ohtani can be on second base in the ninth inning. And then you put a pinch runner in and let him come to bat. I mean, there's so many ramifications of how stupid this is.
There are.
Baseball, as I said the other day, it's getting good to Rob Manfred. He's made a couple of changes that have worked. Now he's going for broke.
Well, he's not going to implement this one.
Good. I just look. We got a lot going on in the building today, in the Odyssey Palace today, because they're having the big money raising.
St. Jude's telethon.
St. Jude's telethon. John Flint is going to join us in a little while to talk about that. It's like probably the most important thing this whole building does each year.
They've already
to raise money for cancer research, which is so important, as we know. And so we're going to get into some of that. But I bring this up now because I ran into Greg Ranieri,
Yes.
who is one of the personalities.
Yes.
On which one? KSON?
KSON. When he comes in here to play games with Andy and Elston, he's on the Red Greg.
All right. He's what?
On the Red Greg. That's
well,
his,
you know what On the Red Greg did today?
Yeah.
He apparently just bet $3.1 million on his Eagles to beat the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
Why would he do that? I don't think he has that money, Chris.
Well, if it wasn't him, it was somebody.
That's ridiculous.
Did you see the story?
I did not.
A bettor is backing the Philadelphia Eagles. I brought Greg in up because he's a big Eagles fan.
He's a huge Eagles fan.
A bettor is backing the Eagles to beat Carolina on Sunday with a $3.1 million wager, one of the largest bets ever reported on an NFL game. Circa Sports, our old friends, took the wager. It's on the Eagles' money line at minus 700. So, if the Eagles beat the Panthers, this bettor wins $440,000, which sounds like a lot to you and I. But if you've already got $3 million, then $440,000 to me doesn't sound like anything.
I don't understand this.
And if he loses the $3 million.
Yeah, other than the person thinking that,
silly.
Hey, if I'm
stuff.
likely to win, I'm making money, but you're also liable to lose $3.1 million. And also, Chris, the Panthers have not been playing bad as of late. The Eagles have been playing great, but they could have a letdown game.
They could have
anytime.
a letdown game. Anyway,
that's a really dumb bet.
That's how we start the weekend with that.
With a dumb bet, great.
With a dumb bet. It's a good day, though. Today is the beginning of placement for the college football playoff, the first official slot. Oh! Now, why are you booing that?
I'm out on the college football playoff.
You're out on the whole thing.
It's a branditocracy, as Aaron Taylor said the other day on CBS Sports.
Can you explain what he meant by that, since he's trying to sound smarter than the rest of us?
Well, because he is. Basically, he said
he is.
Alabama's the brand. You have to have him in, so they're going to put him in, no matter what the resume looks like.
So it's a brand.
It's a branditocracy. If you have a good brand, they want you in, and if you don't, it doesn't help them, so they don't want you in.
Look, you can make a case for Miami over Alabama. You can't make a case for anybody else over Alabama. And the fact of the matter is, Miami, and I hate to admit it, Skrabe, did not play anywhere near the schedule. They just didn't, but the schedule matters.
It doesn't to me.
It does. You can't. Look, all right, let me ask you this. Do you put the same weight in the Aztecs women's basketball victory today as you do UConn beating South Carolina?
Of course not.
Okay, but that's the same thing.
All teams play soft teams.
Alabama plays some soft teams, but they play
like Mercer.
I'm not sticking up for Alabama. Forget it. I'm sorry I started, because I just can't stick for Alabama. But they played a stronger schedule than Miami. And that's just a fact. And anybody who argues that just isn't paying attention. So I can see why Alabama's in. I told you the team that shouldn't be in.
Penn State, but they're too high in the rankings.
Bleeping State.
You can't kick out a number 3.
Why not?
Because they're a number 3. They're not on the bubble. They've survived to get there.
And I'm guaranteeing they get blown out. I'll tell you right now, Penn State is getting whooped by Oregon tomorrow. And that'll give the Big Ten championship to Oregon. To me, that then makes Penn State just another at-large team. All right? And if they're at-large, they're not as good as Ohio State. They're not as good as Indiana, who they didn't play. They're not as good as Alabama, and they're not as good as Miami. And they're certainly not as good as Notre Dame. Look at Penn State's resume. It stinks.
I think this is a personal hatred of James Franklin.
It is a bit of a hatred of James Franklin, I will admit to you. But I also don't like Alabama, and I'm backing them. I think they should be in ahead of Penn State. And I think Miami should be in ahead of Penn State. To me, is the weak link in this tournament. And if you look at their resume, they didn't play Michigan. They didn't play Indiana. They didn't play Oregon. They didn't play, I think it was Illinois or Iowa, one of the 6-3 teams. Every single decent team in the Big Ten, Penn State missed on their schedule. And their non-conference schedule, they beat no one other than West Virginia. I can't put Penn State in. Now, if they beat Oregon, all bets are off, and you can say whatever you want. But I'm pretty sure they're not beating Oregon because Penn State brings nothing to the table, along with the fact that their coach has never, and I underscore never, won a big game. But when it comes to piling points on Miami of Ohio or Jacksonville Tech, he's more than capable of doing that. And I hope he gets whooped, and I'd love to see the tournament say, hey, your resume is not as good as these other teams. But I agree with you. They're going to keep them in just based on where they are now.
But you can't.
But I don't think they should.
You can't fault them for their conference schedule being the way it is. They don't have any control over their conference.
But it just worked out where they don't have. All I do when it's all said. See, I do something maybe different than the committee, and that's why I'm not on the committee. But what
you look at James Franklin and you hate him, and you say, I don't want him in there.
I do. The guy called timeout with a 68-0 lead to ice the kicker on a field goal.
That's just competition,
I mean,
man.
are you going to tell me this guy is right of mind?
That's just competition, man.
All right. But what I do when they get to the at-large teams, now remember, Oregon wins, they're in. Georgia, Texas, winner, in. Clemson, SMU, winner, in. Iowa State, Arizona State, in. And tonight, Boise State, UNLV, in. Those 5 are guaranteed. Now, for the other 7 spots, you have to consider everyone else an at-large. And that's how I do it. And now I start comparing resumes between those 7 schools.
But you're not.
And I don't think Penn State makes it.
But you're not thinking about how much money a certain team's going to make the NCAA.
What do I care? You think Penn State is that big of a brand name?
Penn State is a big brand name.
Please.
Huge name.
Their plain wrap uniforms are not brand savvy.
Why are you just attacking Penn State uniforms now?
I don't know. I'm just kicking Penn State.
I'm not a Penn State fan either. I don't really care either way if Penn State wins or loses, but I don't think they should be kicked out.
What I'm trying to do is find a way for Alabama and Miami, who I both think should be in, to make it. And I think they should be in at the expense of Penn State. Period. Look at the resumes and then argue with me. That's all. Don't just put Penn State in because they happen to have matriculated to number 3. They haven't won any games to move up. They've just not lost, and so other teams have fallen below them. To me, there's a difference there.
While you were resting your voice yesterday, were you just angry all day about this? Because you came shot out of a cannon with this.
You know what got me angry?
What?
I'll be honest with you.
Oh gosh.
I went to the NCAA football page on or the homepage on ESPN.
Okay.
And there's this picture. Look at it. Just go to ESPN.com. There's a picture of James Franklin leading Penn State out onto the field, and I'm like, ah!
Oh, man.
See that picture?
They look tough.
Yeah, sure.
They look really tough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're always tough against Miami Tech.
Hey, Chris.
We'll see what they do against Oregon.
I was going to say,
we will see.
If
I'm wrong, then send me all the email and all of the hate mail.
Well, your hatred for Penn State is like my hatred for the Lions. I went off on the Lions yesterday.
Well,
I'm tired of them. I'm tired of their fans getting in my face about stuff. It's very funny how all of a sudden all of these Lions fans are everywhere talking trash. Even to the point, did you see Matt LaFleur got into a verbal argument with a fan on the field before the game?
I did not, but we'll talk about the Lions' victory over the Packers when we come back, because there was a lot of controversy and how Dan Campbell finished that game and whether he's just a mad scientist who just knows what he's doing or whether he's a dummy and just got lucky. I have a feeling I know what side of that argument Skraby's going to fall on, but that'll keep us rolling. We're underway. Oh, my goodness. The voice is back. There's probably people out there going, I wish your voice wasn't.
No, actually, you got a couple comments on the chat saying, welcome back, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
I wish you guys wouldn't do that because that helps him, feel good about things.
Daily Gambit countdown today. It's Friday. Chris versus the fans. Big 5 interviews. The whole shooting match till 6. 97.3 The Fan. Morning. It would be breaking news if you could tell me, Roki Sasaki has signed with the Padres. I'll give you that for that news.
Okay.
But that's not the
Joe
news.
Mauer retiring?
That's not the news either.
Okay.
Nor is this, but I think it affects the Padres. Shane Bieber, former All-Star starter for the Cleveland Guardians, going back to the Guardians. Yeah. I think he's somebody we could have... Look, I think every team can play the same sounder, because he's a guy that a lot of people would be very interested in, and he'd probably be a little cheaper because he's been hurt. He doesn't have a whole lot of, cachet at the moment.
Yeah.
But he's a guy you could take a run at. This guy started the All-Star game. I think he won the Triple Crown in pitching during the COVID season.
Yep.
It was a short season, but, the guy was dominating. Anyway, Shane Bieber will not be a Padre because he's going to stay with the Guardians. There's no more new news on Sasaki, but we got into this yesterday. Would you let me talk?
Oh, sorry.
Jeez, I've been waiting 3 days.
Well, you said we were going to get into what we got into yesterday, but you were here yesterday.
I'm just saying that Sasaki, I'm hearing so many different things now. Buster Olney is sure that Sasaki's already decided on the Dodgers. And other reports are sure that the Padres have the inside track. And I'm starting to wonder, does anybody really know anything, or are they just like throwing stuff and flipping coins and trying to make it sound like they know something?
It's all clickbait.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe I want him to come here because we need him.
Yeah.
But there's a little piece of me that would love to see him sign with the Tigers and just everybody be wrong.
That
you know
would
what
be
I mean?
fun, but it wouldn't be fun.
No, but I want everybody to be wrong because I don't think these people even know anything.
No.
I think they're just coming at us like they're. Look, Buster Olney's one of my favorites, but I'm surprised he's throwing clickbait out there, unless he really knows something. But what can he know?
But how can? Here's what I said yesterday. If Buster Olney and Jeff Passan are reporting two very different things,
and they're with the same company,
they probably have the same sources. How are they hearing something so different?
Right. And there's another guy, Romero, who's with somebody, and he's a big guy in the industry, and he says the Padres have it. I don't know who he is.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
that
been
tweet,
tweeting
the first
it out.
tweet. It was actually like the first tweet.
So, look, we want Sasaki. We need him. The Dodgers, what?
I don't
really,
want
if you're to me, I'm talking to you, Roki. Roki, if you're out there, I'm talking to you. Going to the Dodgers would be like a 5-star running back coming out of high school, signing with Alabama, and then being 4th string and sitting on the bench.
That's a good way of putting it.
When you could go to anywhere else and be the guy. If Roki Sasaki comes here, he's in the rotation before he even arrives.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to L.A., sorry, he's got like 5 guys who are going to be after that one of those spots. You got Glass now. You got Dustin May coming back. You still got Kershaw hanging around. A Hall of
coming
Famer.
back.
Who'd you say?
Gonsolin's coming back.
Gonsolin, right. And that goes along with who they already have, Yamamoto and Flaherty.
Oh, yeah, by
and
the way,
everybody else.
Shohei Ohtani's going to pitch next
And
year.
Ohtani. So if you're Roki Sasaki, why? You can't make any more money, right, in L.A., so why would you go where now you're maybe one of 8 or 9 possibilities, as opposed to going where you're in the rotation and one of your heroes is here?
I get it.
So that's what I'm thinking. Probably wrong. One other report, might as well throw them all out there. Joel Reeder, or Reuter, depending on how you want to pronounce it, Bleacher Report,
Oh, yeah.
envisions Phillies reliever Jeff Hoffman
Okay.
being signed by the Padres
Oh.
as a potential replacement for Musgrove. Now, Hoffman is a stud,
Yeah.
8th inning, and closed a bunch of games last year. He got, I don't know how many saves. Let me see. Ended up with 10 saves, all right? So, he was a very big part of that Philly bullpen. But the talk is he wants to be a starter. He wants to be a la Seth Lugo. He wants to go start.
Like Clay Holmes, too.
And like a lot of guys. So the Padres obviously are going to be in the hunt. Maybe Jeff Hoffman is a name. I'm throwing it out there because, look, if we throw enough reported names out there, somebody's going to come here.
Jax has a good point. Hoffman's do well in San Diego, so
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That could be a thing.
I do like the Jeff. I haven't even thought about the Jeff Hoffman thing, but like Clay Holmes might be another guy because if they're looking for a starter and they're trying to get someone who's been established in the league, who they know what they're going to give them, then one of those guys might be a good option. They did it with Lugo and it worked.
I just don't see why Sasaki would want to go have to compete. Clayton Kershaw's going to the Hall of Fame. Dustin May is an established guy when healthy. Gonsolin and now I'm forgetting. There's so many of them.
Shohei.
Thank you, Glasgow. There's so many Dodgers that are already there. You're going to be competing with 8 or 9 guys. If Roki Sasaki, doesn't pitch well, see ya.
Yeah.
Come to San Diego, be the guy, along with, Darvish and King, and I'm
Cease.
forgetting all our pitchers now. Cease, yeah. I mean, you're an automatic number 4 here at the very least.
Walker Buehler's still out there.
Get Buehler as a 5 or get Jeff Hoffman as a 5. What do I care? The Sasaki thing, I don't get, but I've never understood it because I wasn't a 5-star athlete in high school.
Me neither.
Okay, neither were you. But I've never understood why everyone goes to Alabama. There's so many guys that played running back at Alabama and I don't you have to go back on Derrick Henry, but some of these other names since Derrick Henry. But guys that like Josh Jacobs, et cetera, guys that have only got to play 1 year. The other 3 years, they didn't even play. They just sat there.
Yeah.
Then got
Alvin
1
Kamara,
year.
Did he committed to Alabama and then went to Tennessee because he wasn't playing enough?
Well, I mean, if you go to Alabama, you sit behind Derrick Henry and whoever, and then you're Josh Jacobs. You come in for a year or two, and I'm using him as an example. I don't know what Josh Jacobs' entire Alabama career, so don't hold me. But I know there's guys that have gone to Alabama, sit there for 3 years, get 1 year of college football, and then they sign and they go to the pros. But they miss out on 3 years of getting to play college football. I don't get it. Why wouldn't you, go to Mississippi State? You still play in the SEC. You still get on
but
TV.
You'll lose.
Well, how about if you're good? Maybe you can help the team win.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever think like that? Like, I'll go there and help make them good.
Very few think
Right.
like that now.
I know.
It's where
That's why
is
they
the
all-
money and where is the
So
opportunity?
they all go to Alabama and they sit there as 9th string. Like, I don't get that thinking.
Here's a name from the chat. Jack Flaherty. My first thought is too expensive.
Yeah.
Especially with Dylan Cease and Michael King, and Sam and I talked about it yesterday. They're both going to command above $25 million a year, probably.
Flaherty's too much.
But they have,
and I'll be honest with you, Jack Flaherty, the last 3 years before this one, stunk.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
Wasn't good.
And I think he had some...
He had some injury issues,
Yeah.
but he had excuses, but he wasn't good. I'm not going to spend, I don't want $30 million. I saw your tweet the other day, Skrabe, about Soto, and I know, we're in the same boat here, but why teams are lining up to pay $700 million for any one player? It just seems like bad business.
Does it? I mean,
I don't know. Do they sell that many jerseys?
Yes.
Really?
If Juan Soto signs with the Dodgers for $700 million, then Japan is going to start buying his jersey. People are going to start buying everything. And that's part of sports now, is you have to, as a business, because ultimately it's a business, you have to go where the money is. And that's where all sports are going. All teams are going. If I sign this player, it doesn't matter how much it is, I'm going to make it back tenfold.
The old theory of we don't care how much it costs, we just care how much it makes.
Yep.
Not a bad strategy, I will say.
But it's not what we want in sports.
It's not what we can do in San Diego at this time that I know of.
That's true.
All right, much more to come. We're going to talk about this very important cancer research that's going on. The building, we're all involved in it. We want you to help. So spend a couple of minutes. John Flint not only is a good sports guy, so we'll kick some sports stuff around with him too. It's next on Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods.
Hi, welcome back. 2:37 is the time. Life still beats out sports. I love sports. It's a nice escape from life, but life still takes precedence. And every year around this time, all of the folks at the Odyssey Palace, led by our guest, John Flint, from the John and Tammy SD's morning show.
Chris,
San
I told
Diego's
you
morning
to
show.
specifically say it how it's supposed to be said.
I did say it at
San
Lloyd.
Diego's morning show.
SD's morning show. That might be news to Ben and Woods, by the way.
Okay.
No,
What
they're
is
on.
happening?
They're on KSON 103.7, and they're great. And John really leads the way on this St. Jude telethon every year. I know you're here for like 4 straight days every year.
Well, a bit of an
And
overstatement, but
you know what I mean.
I
It's
do.
worth it, and you guys have done such a great raising money. And I know that you come on, and hopefully you get some of our people to jump in as well, because everybody can contribute at this time of year, right?
Well, that is, yeah, for sure. And thank you guys. I really appreciate you having me in, Chris and Skrabes. And listen, if you're asking yourself right now, who is this person? I work at KSON. It's a country station here in town. It's okay if you don't know who I am. I don't even care about that. I don't care if you hate country music. In fact, I'll shut up as soon as you become a partner in Hope for St. Jude, a small hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, that is surrounded by a massive research facility. Only the sickest of the sick kids are in St. Jude right now. But behind them, every day of every week of every year, 24 hours a day, the best minds in the world are working on protocols and treatments for children with catastrophic diseases. And then when they come and make a breakthrough and find a treatment, they share their results freely with the world. They don't put it up to the highest pharmaceutical bidder. It's not for sale. They say, here, take this, save lives. And I guarantee you, there's children right now at Rady who are being treated for cancer by protocols that were developed at St. Jude. And that is why you donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But more than anything, the shocking thing for people, and then if you've had anybody have even a couple of days in the hospital and then gotten the bill, like, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? You're never charged a cent for the best treatment in the world that St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gives you. And that's not just the patient. That's every member of the family. They never get charged for travel, for room and board. There's a school for St. Jude, at St. Jude for the patients, but they're also there for the brothers and sisters of the patients. They want the families to be together the most they can. I mean, I'll just tell you, my daughter, Chris, Julia, she's 23 now, but she was born with a complete cleft lip and palate. And I'm not comparing that to any kind of catastrophic disease, but she still had to have some major facial cranioplastic surgeries throughout her life. And the last 2, I shared the story with you guys yesterday, the last 2, our insurance company didn't cover. They thought it was an elective surgery. So I had to, my life was altered, to say the least. It destroyed everything. My marriage didn't last that. I had to move. I had to find legal representation. And I can't imagine what it must feel like, just the sense of relief when you are told the worst possible news that anybody can possibly be told, that your child's life is in danger and they might not make it. And then you got to worry about, how am I going to pay for this? The fact that they don't have any stress and the only job that they have is to take care of their little babies. That is what makes this place. It's a place of miracles. And when
it's an incredible place. I mean, my wife, and I've told you this 100 times, worked at KSON when we met, and that's 3 decades ago. And she did the St. Jude's telethon then, and they were raising a bunch of money then and staying up for 2 days. And I mean, you guys have been, picked right all up. And what you said is true. St. Jude's doesn't exist without the kindness of the people out there who make them be able to do what they can do. But it really is it's a magical place in that regard.
We have a question on the chat, John. Pete is asking, can we make a one-time contribution?
You can. What we're really looking for is something called Partners in Hope, and that is just $19 a month. It takes it right out of your like you're paying a bill. Just takes it right off your credit card. We'll hook you up with a This Shirt Saves Lives T-shirt and a Music Gives sweatshirt. And all you have to do, I'm just going to give you the easiest way to do it. Okay, forget the phone. Just text KIDS, KIDS. Text KIDS to 785-833, and they're going to send you a link. It's going to take you 2 minutes to sign up and become a partner in hope, and then you're just going to carry on your day knowing that you did something great. It's kids to the number 785-833, or if it's easier for you, just go to KSON.com. Make your donation as well, KSON.com. To answer Pete's question, yes, you can make a one-time donation, but if you want to get the shirt and the sweatshirt, put the $19 a month Partners in Hope donation on your credit card, and we'll take care of you. We know you don't need any incentive to do the right thing, but why not rock these cool-looking clothes? And they're shirts you're going to wear, by the way. You're not going to have it in a drawer with the rest of those shirts you never wear. You're going to like wearing these shirts. And when people see you in this shirt, they might come up to you and say, hey, why does that shirt save lives? Tell me how that works. And then you can tell them all about St. Jude. Or, and this has happened to me a few times now, and it's very overwhelming, someone will come up to you and say, thank you, because my child's alive, because you became a partner in hope. The Country Cares for St. Jude Kids Radiothon, which is what we call this. A couple things. First of all, the first ever was right here in San Diego at KSON. They got this idea, St. Jude nationwide and now worldwide, based on KSON's idea to do it on their own. Now it is the biggest fundraiser that they do. And think about the fact this is a 100% publicly funded place. That's a huge, huge thing to say. And this radiothon is now $1 billion in. So we're in it to win it, and we're not going to stop until they can make St. Jude Children's Research Hospital a museum, or, I don't know, an amusement park, or whatever they want to do with that space once they don't have to worry about kids dying of cancer anymore.
63 cents a day. Pretty good amount to spend just for even the chance that, well, you're not doing it to get a compliment, but imagine getting that compliment. Thank you for helping save a child's life, my child's life,
That's
whatever
powerful.
it might be.
That's powerful.
So that's a big deal.
Every fall, they have a seminar at St. Jude in Memphis where we can go, the people that put on this radiothon, so we can go and see where the money that you're contributing is going to. We can come back and in part tell you where your donations are going and the innovations that are happening and the cure rates that are increasing because of your donations. We had a man come up this year, and he says to the couple hundred, maybe 500 radio people from around America, saying, I'd like to introduce you to my daughter. And everyone goes crazy, and they're clapping for her. And then when he said, but I can't.
Oh, man.
And it's just, the wind goes out, and we're looking at a man whose daughter is dead, whose daughter did not survive her fight with cancer. But he's there in the very place where his daughter passed away years later, telling us, thank you. Because of Partners in Hope, I got 8 more years with my daughter than I had. Now, I don't know what kind of profound loss you guys have suffered. If I had 8 more seconds with my dad.
Lost my voice this week. That was the toughest thing I've had to deal with.
Chris.
Dude.
I'm just saying.
That's my job to make the uncomfortable joke.
If I had 8 more seconds with my dad, I would do anything for that. St. Jude, when doctors, and this isn't a rip on doctors here, they just didn't have what they needed that St. Jude had. They told them, at wherever hospital they were from, that there's nothing we can do for your child. And he said, nah, not on my watch. I'm going to check in St. Jude. And they were accepted, and she got 8 more years. I mean, that's just a story right there. One of many. We've got several people working right now, one of whom was a little girl named Paisley who we first interviewed when she was 10 years old. She's 19 years old now. She had I think a 78% chance of dying with the brain tumor that she had. And she is healthy now. She's going to have some, she'll be scanned every year to make sure everything's cool. But she's thriving. She's 19 years old. She's working for St. Jude now. We're going to have a beautiful, beautiful woman named Liz who comes in every year. Liz lost her daughter, but St. Jude gave her time. And Liz said because of the time that she was given, the hope that you guys gave her as Partners in Hope, her life now is dedicated to keeping Claire's legacy alive by coming on the radiothon every year. She answers phones. She gives out T-shirts. She's ringing the cowbell when we're announcing the total. This is her life, and she lost her child. But because of what St. Jude did, hope, and gave them more time, more children are being kept alive now than ever before. So it's just, we want results. There are your results. What was a death sentence in 1960 is an over 90% survival rate now. Boom.
That's progress. Huge progress. KIDS. Text that 785-833. Now this is a big deal, St. Jude's, and it has to be, because I really didn't want anything to do with you personally this week.
Wow.
No, because we're playing each other in fantasy football.
You're a spicy person today.
Yeah, fantasy football drives a wedge between us employees, as you know, Scrabe, when I'm playing you.
John and I go walk down the hallway for playing each other. We're like, good game, or I wish you the best.
No, John doesn't sell that to me.
Well, because you
So he
dropped
wants
the
to kick
gauntlet.
my butt.
You dropped the gauntlet down.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a ring in the league. I just act as if at this point.
Oh, you got a ring.
Hey,
you and Skraby.
You want to touch rings
That's
right
buddy.
now?
Wonder
Because
Twins
we
powers
both got 'em.
activate. Hell yeah, man.
I'm ringless over here.
Well, you got a quality squad this year, and I'm sure you're going to show me the ropes this week, guys. Again, thank you so much. We're going to wrap this up at 7:00, and then I'm going to go home and have a hell of a drink and a hell of a nap. And
You deserve it.
And I hope to God I don't hear anything horrible about Juan Soto in the meantime. I had a nightmare. He signed with the you-know-who's, and my daughter was crying in the nightmare. I'm like, oh, God, please, if that comes true. So I want to talk about that. But I do want to say, please text KIDS, KIDS, to 785-833, or just go to KSON.com. And if you've got a healthy family, I'm so happy for you. You are blessed. Do it in thanks for your healthy family. And if you have somebody that you've lost and you want to feel better about that, you're never going to feel the same, but maybe this will be a step in healing by texting KIDS and making other people have that hope at 785-833. KIDS, 785-833, or KSON.com.
Thank you, John.
Guys, love you. Thank you. Happy holidays.
The name of the
too.
show is John and Tammy San Diego's Morning Show.
Awesome.
That's right.
Just in the nick of time.
Here's the thing. If Ben and Woods are driving you a little nuts, there you go.
No.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll
Why are we
appreciate that.
taking shots at our fellow
You know what?
compatriots?
I don't because I couldn't talk for 2 days and I'm making up for lost
You
You're
time.
a
can tell.
spicy meatball right now.
Guys, thank you very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate
John.
it. Love you guys.
Continued
Bye.
good luck. Thank you, sir. That telethon is ongoing till 7 p.m. this evening, so you have some time, but not a whole lot of time to get involved. KIDS is the word to text, 785-833 or KSON.com. Skraby, speaking of fantasy football,
What's up?
we got a couple of minutes left here. You have a big weekend.
I do.
Because your championship, which you've let everybody know all about ad nauseum since the day you won it,
Champ is almost not here.
the champ is almost gone.
Yeah.
Before the playoffs, you need some help. And you need it from a very interesting source. You need it from my godson, Connor,
I have a rivalry with someone.
who you
It's him.
always have a rivalry with him, but he's got to help you this week.
Yeah.
Because you need my wife, Lori's got to lose, and you've got to win. You got a lot to to be
do.
rooting for this
But
weekend.
it's totally doable stuff.
It's doable. I mean, it could happen.
I mean, Connor did have Josh Jacobs last night,
That
which
got
is a
him
big
off to a
help.
good
Although,
start.
come on, Josh Jacobs, you can't rush for a couple more yards. You can only get 3 touchdowns. When he was going for his 4th touchdown, I was like, do it! Do it! It turns me... Fantasy football playoffs turns me into a monster.
A monster.
A monster.
Yeah, but we'll keep an eye on whether Skraby can get through to the playoffs or not. Tony's not in this year.
No, but you are.
I am in
You're
a
clinched.
rarity. I had a good year so far. But I looked at this. If you get in, chances are you'd be the 6th seed.
That's the only spot, I think.
If I'm in, chances are I'm going to be the 3 seed.
So we'll play each other in
We
the
could
first
meet in the very first round this year because I can't win my division, et cetera, and the way the seedings work in our league. But you and I could be facing off, but you got to survive this week.
I do. That would be
So
amazing
we'll
for
see.
the show.
And let's see, one other thing. We're down to the last 2.
Yeah.
In the survival challenge.
Correct.
Now, 2 of our contestants have survived 13 weeks of picking NFL games.
Yep.
And they've been right all 13 times. We started with all over 200 people. Will any of these 2 people, does anybody know these people so we can get in touch with them and try to get a little, follow along, like who they're picking and what's going on?
Well, I can check and
It's
see.
incredible that they've
Maybe-
made it this long. The belt is up for grabs.
Let me check and see if both of them made a selection already, so that it's already out there.
It would be something we could keep an eye on, yes.
Let me see.
So did anybody make a pick on that?
Because for some reason, ESPN's Eliminator Challenge is the worst app I've ever used for something like this because I'm not allowed to see who the people are.
Right. So we can't get in touch with them.
It's not available yet.
And they haven't made their picks yet. All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see who they pick. Remember, in the Eliminator, they both have 13 teams they cannot pick, right? Because they've already survived that long.
True.
That means there's 13 teams that are taken. And there's only 12 games this week, or 13 this week. There's a lot of buys this week in the NFL. Very late in the season for buys.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Because last week they had all teams play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair for any team that has to take a Week 14 bye, which is a lot of teams.
This is way late, you think? Too late?
Too late. Like, it's an unfair advantage for the 49ers, who seem to get a bye in, like, Week 8 or 9 or 10 every single year. That's an unfair advantage.
You like it in the middle.
Well, I think most teams like it in the middle because you get that break. But a Week 14, and same goes for the teams that have to take a bye in like Week 4 or Week 5. You've been playing for a month and you get a bye. That's not what they want.
Well, but how can you do this?
I've already
what is
said
your
this a million
suggestion?
Times, and no one thinks it's a good idea.
What is your suggestion? Everybody gets a bye in the same week?
Correct. And you put something there so that everybody has a fair shot at resting up.
What am I going to do on that Sunday?
That will be some sort of
Scott
NFL
Hansen,
Pro
I
Bowl.
need him.
Well, you'll get him the next week.
No, I need him.
What happens when your Dolphins are on a bye?
I don't care. I watch Scott Hansen. I watch him when they're on a bye. When they're not on a bye, I watch my red zone.
Week 14 is too late. And not to mention, NFL, your popularity is somewhat based upon fantasy football, and you're putting teams on a bye in Week 14 when people are trying to make the playoffs.
All right, let's see. I mean, we'll make a mental note of this. But Denver, they're probably in the playoffs, but they're getting a bye this week. Is that going to hurt them? Indianapolis.
No, that's going to help them.
Help Denver.
Because they've made it this far, but still, like...
All right, so then what's the negative? Indianapolis, New England, Washington's on a bye, Baltimore and Houston. 4 of those teams are probably in the playoffs. So it's going to help them. It worked out well for them.
I guess you've...
Stop crying.
I'm not crying.
Yes, you are. You're probably crying because you have some of your players on bye in your fantasy game, and that's why you're mad.
I know your wife does. She's got some players on bye. So.
It happens.
It does, but not Week 14.
All right.
Week 9, everybody gets a bye.
That is idiotic, as are many of the things you say.
No, that is not true.
Daily Gambit. Hour number 2 of our Finally a Friday get-together. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby together today in the Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. he's idle today. He's sitting, honestly, what he's doing, I mean, I don't know if I'm out of school telling you this. What he's doing is sitting in the hot sun somewhere.
It's not hot.
It's not hot. It's warm. Sitting
Well,
in
where
a warm
he is,
sun.
It probably is. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
he's
You're
like
right.
he's like in Riverside. It's never cool in Riverside.
And he has
There
to
is
drive
no
up and
there is
drive
no
back.
wind blowing through Riverside. It is just hot.
Is that true? I didn't know that. That was
but
true
I
or
find
not.
it to be warm there at all times.
It definitely is warm.
He's up there watching his daughters a bit of soccer tournament.
I had a thought.
And I told him, I said, Tony, use some of your own funds because we know how much money he has. You
He's
and I.
got billions.
Right. Use some of your own funds and build a soccer stadium in San Diego so you don't have to keep driving to Riverside all the
Call it
time.
Tony Gwynn Jr. Field.
Tony Gwynn Jr. Field. Yeah.
At Tony Gwynn
these kids-
Jr.'s backyard.
Let these kids play soccer here. Every time his daughters have a soccer tournament, he's halfway around the world. Poor
I
guy.
was thinking about this, and
Just trying to help him out.
has nothing to do with Tony's kids or anything, but why are they doing soccer tournaments during school?
I don't know. That's a fair question.
She's not in
actually.
college, and I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong, but I just didn't
Right.
think that you would
It's
take
Friday.
off 2
They should be in
days.
school.
Thursday,
you're
yesterday
thinking?
was the first day of the tournament. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
That's beyond me. That's over my pay grade. Scrape.
Have you ever been to the surf area? The surf.
I have.
Have you ever been there when they've had one of their youth soccer tournaments?
I have not.
Stay as far away as humanly
What happens?
possible.
What happens there?
A bunch of people in Teslas and Suburbans and all of that.
Really?
There's so much traffic.
Okay.
You think Via de la Valle can handle 1,000-person tournament? No. I'm never going to get
It's
off
one
this.
lane in and out, is what you're saying.
I'm never going to get out of this Via de la Valle hate until they do something about it.
What would you like them to do about Via de la Valle?
Well, first off, repave it. Because
Okay.
I have to swerve and hit this like 18-foot
I've enjoyed
pothole.
very relaxing drives on Via de Valle in my lifetime.
Which way? Towards the racetrack?
Towards
or?
Morgan Run out there. Yeah.
See, that is a nice drive.
Okay.
But when you
So
have
what's the
1,000
problem?
cars trying to show up for a youth soccer tournament, it turns into
Oh,
a
stop.
disaster.
All right. Well,
An absolute disaster.
what do you want? All right.
I want them to widen it. I want them to clean it up.
This is why you have the Skraby Chronicles.
This is true.
You can get this all off your chest later on tonight
This is true.
at 6 p.m.
This is true.
All right. You want to take a guess? I don't know how closely you follow MLS. I'm going to
I saw
ask
what
you
you're
one
about to
question.
say.
Oh, okay. So you know who the MVP is?
And then I immediately thought, this is ridiculous. And then
You
I
think it's
just-
rigged?
And then I did some research.
Like they had to give it to him, or
No,
did he deserve it?
No, he deserved it.
He was the guy?
He met all of the minimum criteria to do it. He also I think he had some sort of average of multiple goals a game, which doesn't happen. So
Messi is the
Yeah.
MLS MVP.
yes, correct.
All right. But I don't think his team is still in the running.
They're
They
out.
got knocked out right away.
They did, yeah.
In the MLS Cup
Yes.
standings race, whatever it is.
Yes, but he did get the MVP and he did deserve it. So
All right.
I didn't. Did you hear much about how great he was playing?
No, that's why I was surprised when I saw that. I thought, what, did they just give it to him because he's
Messi?
But apparently he had the statistics to back it up.
Yeah,
So,
it's very strange how.
yeah,
we didn't
I don't
really hear
like
much
to.
about it.
Yeah, I don't want to keep the guy from getting an award he should have won. Here's actually a question on ESPN before we go to our daily gambit. Jeff Carlisle, the U.S. soccer correspondent, asks, did Messi play enough to deserve it? So apparently he didn't, play all the time, etc.
You needed 1,000 minutes or something, which seems like a lot, but I guess you're playing 90
He says the
minutes
reliable
at a time.
eye test says Messi's the best player, etc. But on field performance, 36 goals contributed, 20 and 16 assists were the most.
There you go.
But there's some numbers that don't look as favorable. Due to a combination of international play and injury, he played in only 19 of the 34 games.
See, that's
Barely
even more
half.
impressive to me that he did what he did in 19
Okay.
games.
Well, that's for MLS fans to discuss. I'm not really in on this one.
Hey, hopefully we're raising an MLS Cup here in the next couple years. With
Next year, I
SDFC.
say. Let's not wait around.
Next year, let's do it. The Wave, I don't know if they won, but they went to the championship,
No,
right?
They didn't win. They got to the semifinal last year. This year, they didn't get anywhere.
Well, come on.
And Jill Ellis left.
Yeah, she
The Wave
did.
is like in a major transition at the moment. All right, let's get to some Daily Gambit stuff. Other winners and losers to speak of.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit for daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Everybody, please gamble responsibly. On ESPN right now, before we get into the bets, they were showing a montage of all of the college football playoff teams. And, Chris, I saw Penn State more than any other team in that
Well, they're
montage.
putting up an all-state playoff predictor right now.
They're saying-
I guess they're looking at potential at-large teams because they don't have Oregon on this list.
No, they don't have any of the other...
Any of the power teams, but Georgia's not on it. But it says Penn State 99% chance makes the playoff no matter what happens.
They say
99. Well, I'm the 1% who doesn't think they should be in if they lose to Oregon.
I think they are trying to put 99.9%
I know.
up there.
I know.
And they have an 8% chance out of the 6 teams listed or 7 teams listed to win the title.
I'll bet you everything I got. I'll bet you
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'll
Don't say
bet you
it.
the $3 million that the Eagle
Don't-
guy
no,
bet
don't
today.
say it.
Penn State's not winning the national championship.
I don't believe it, but I'm not going to allow you to make that bet.
They're not winning it.
It's not going to happen.
All right. What bets did you guys make yesterday?
We just did some Thursday night football bets. In the first one, Packers at the Lions, -3.5. The Lions were 3.5-point favorites. Both Chris and I, Sam and I chose the Packers. And
Oh, you guys were right.
yeah, because the Packers lost by 3, so
Yeah, it's a
the
winner.
Lions didn't cover. Jared Goff over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Both of us went over, and he had 3 yesterday.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs over under 90.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Sam went over, I went under, and he only had 73 yards, 43 rushing, 30 receiving.
He's a tough guy to bet on because they share duties. He and Montgomery.
Yeah.
You never quite know how much Gibbs is going to be and how much Montgomery's going to be. You know they're both going to play and do things, but you never know who's going to be the guy that night.
Well, Montgomery is going to get the goal line carries, and he gets the touchdowns. And Jahmyr Gibbs works the middle of the field.
All right, I'll give you that.
Josh Jacobs, over under 73.5 rushing yards last night. He had 3 touchdowns. We both went over because he's been on fire, and he came up short. He had 66 rushing yards last night.
He only scored 24.6 points fantasy.
Even with 3
on
touchdowns.
a night with 3 touchdowns. That's a low total,
It
actually.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Then I found a parlay. Would we bet on this? Both of us actually said no. It was Lions -5.5, so the parlay is dead right there.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's what you did.
Yes.
All right. You and I didn't get into the discussion on whether the kneecap cannibal
yeah.
is either smarter than us or dumber and just lucky.
Let's go 320 with that.
All right, we'll do that in a little bit. But let's get to some games today. The college football playoff starts tonight. Boise State, well, not the playoff itself, but the game to get into it. I'm surprised by this line. Boise State only 4-point favorite over UNLV, and the game is in Boise, is it not?
Is this the Mountain West Championship?
Yeah, this is a championship. I think they play it in Boise. I'm like, yeah, they visit Boise. It's on the blue turf.
All right.
I think a 4-point, that's it. I know they played in the championship last year. Boise State beat them badly. That game was in Las Vegas. Boise State beat them earlier this year. I don't know. 4 points doesn't seem right. I'm going to say Boise. Boise. I'm the one who always says pronounce it right. By the way, Genty,
Yeah.
2,288
Is that total yards or rushing yards?
rushing yards. If they make the playoff and win a game, meaning he gets 3 more total games, He's going to break Barry Sanders' all-time record. Most yards rushing ever in a season. Ever. Of course, he's going to get another game or two, but he's on pace to do it. If they win tonight and win a playoff game, he'll get there.
I will go with Boise for...
It's not Boise.
It's Boise.
Boise. Tomorrow, Oregon, 3.5 over Penn State.
Oh, no.
I'm making a special dispensation bet here.
Okay.
I'm adding 10 against me, and I'm saying Oregon wins by 13.5 or more.
Okay.
So I'll take Oregon and give you 13.5, let alone 3.5.
Wow.
That's how bad Penn State is in my mind.
That is bold.
Bold.
I'm gonna go with Oregon, but I'm not going with.
You're not giving the extra 10?
No, that's a lot.
All right. Texas is 3 over Georgia. There's a big problem with the SEC championship game tomorrow.
Why?
Because when Texas plays Georgia, we only care about one thing. It's UGA versus Bevo.
Didn't even remember that.
And they had the classic showdown a few years ago when Bevo
tried to take out UGA.
Tore his stall down.
Took out an
to
old
try
lady
to get
too.
UGA. And then during the regular season this year, they played, but I don't believe Bevo was there. The SEC championship game said, we don't have enough room for Bevo on the sidelines. He can't come.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
You think? I think Sarkisian and Texas should have said, well, then we're not coming. If we can't have Bevo.
What about, because Rob Manfred wants to do a golden at bat, what about you get to use Bevo for one carry? No one's taking down Bevo.
UGA trip him up. UGA could trip him up.
UGA is a bulldog, and bulldogs don't move that quickly.
They didn't have to move quickly because Bevo's not exactly going to put any electric moves on you.
True.
Just plowing straight ahead. Who do you like? Texas -3.
I mean, Georgia beat them up pretty good earlier this year.
Right. That was at Georgia. This will be on a neutral site in Atlanta, which is kind of like Georgia.
It is kind of. I'm going to take Georgia. They're more experienced.
Yeah. Georgia, I'm going to take Texas. Georgia worries me in one regard. Their quarterback is an interception waiting to happen. Georgia's.
Carson Beck.
Yeah. If you look at him last week, Georgia Tech, they didn't score until the second half of that game. Yeah. Now, they got hot, but they can't afford to do that again. I'm gonna take Texas.
Katrina says, I need to make Chris wear all Penn State gear when they don't lose by 13. That is a bet. I will find a Penn State shirt for you to wear if they...
That's fine.
Okay.
I know people who go to Penn State, and they're probably not pleased with me right now, but I'm sorry. Penn State just hasn't done anything to earn their lofty position.
Hey, at least you're confident in your decision.
Celtics 8 over the Bucks tonight. NBA action. Two of the better teams. Milwaukee's red hot. I think they've won 7-8 in a row. Let me make sure here.
They've won a lot.
The Buck to Paula. Oh, no, they lost their last game, but prior to that, they'd won 8 in a row. The Bucks at the Celts. The Celts are 18-4. Can't people beat that team?
Guess not.
They just do one thing. They do it well.
Shoot the three. I'm gonna go with the Celtics.
-8.
Yeah, I know.
That's a lot.
I know.
Excuse me. I'll take the Bucks. All right, here's one for you. We can do this cleanly today because Tony's not around.
Okay.
Hawks -5.5 at home against the Lakers.
Oh. Sam and I were commenting yesterday that we saw a press conference with JJ Redick, and he looks stressed right now. I don't think the Lakers have scored like 90 or more points in the last couple games.
They've been beaten by 70 points combined in the last 2 games. I need some water.
Okay. 70 points combined in the last 2 games is a ton. LeBron James is he's LeBron James, but you can tell. You can tell that the age might be catching up with him just a tiny bit.
You're calling the age thing.
I'm not calling him old, and I'm not calling him bad. I'm just saying he's not the same LeBron that we knew 10 years ago.
I'll take the Lakers. I can't believe they're going to get embarrassed 3 games in a row. 5.5 points.
LeBron is questionable tonight, too.
All right, who you going?
I'm going to go Hawks.
Yeah, you would.
The last time I picked the Lakers, they ruined my bet.
It's clear that you like Adam Klug better than Tony Gwynn Jr.
Well, Adam keeps me employed, so yes.
All right, if LeBron plays 1.5 threes, remember he had 0 for 4 straight games. Last game he made only 1. It's been a while since he's made.
Say it again?
LeBron 1.5 threes, over or under. But his last 5 games, he's made only 1 3 total.
I mean, let's hope he plays in the game. I'm going to say under.
Under? He's got to make at least 2 threes. Come on, LeBron. What's the matter with you?
Over?
One more. I looked in the NFL Sunday. I looked at receiving over and under totals of every player in the league.
Wow.
Take a guess. This week's schedule. Now you got to kind of just, imagine
It's
that.
fine, okay.
What receiver has the highest over-under pass reception line?
So number of catches?
Number of catches only.
I think it is.
Who has the most?
Would tight ends be involved in this?
Yes, they're
Brock
receivers.
Bowers.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers is a 7.5 over or under. That's higher than Jefferson. That's higher than Chase.
Well,
that's higher than anybody.
He is a pass-catching machine.
Well, so you think I should go over then?
I'm going to go over.
All right, we'll both go over.
Him and Jacoby Myers are basically the only 2 people on that team that can do anything.
But don't you think they could defend it?
Brock Bowers is so good. He made a catch in that.
But
Black
so's Tyreek Hill, and they seem to defend him now.
Well, your
catches one catch a game.
Well, your coach hasn't redesigned the playbook in the last 3 years.
Fair point.
Has he run many of those wide receiver screens this year? Did they throw that endlessly?
And you know what they haven't run? I have not seen a single bomb headed in Tyreek Hill's direction this year.
Well, that's because everybody plays 2 high safeties.
Throw it to him anyway.
They will
make
not
them defend it.
No, defenses are just saying beat us underneath. Do not beat us over the top.
All right. I have one last thing to say about that. If that's what they're truly saying, and everybody says that, then why the hell isn't Waddle and everyone else wide open underneath every time?
That's a good point.
They're not.
They're not.
So I'm sick of the Dolphins thing.
They're just sneaking themselves back into the playoffs.
I know, but they're pissing me off overall.
At least your team isn't my team.
Now we both have the same record. We both kind of stink. All right, that's the Daily Gambit. When we come back, is Dan Campbell smarter than us or dumber than us and just lucky? We'll check traffic first.
From the
There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec out here at the Aztec baseball tournament. It's the SDSU baseball alumni tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So. So Chris says I can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Skraby. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green, and then chipped it within 5 feet. Skraby, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him. But we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec out here at the Aztec baseball tournament. It's the SDSU baseball alumni tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble, and Chris is playing well, so he's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says I can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Skraby. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off of birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. Buddy wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green, and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Skraby,
don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him. But we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec out here at the Aztec baseball tournament. It's the SDSU baseball alumni tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble, and Chris is playing well, so he's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says I can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20.
All right, welcome back. 3:24 is the time. If you're tuned in and you're looking for the latest Padre update, not much to give you today. Roki Sasaki, depending on who you listen to, is either going to be a Padre or a Dodger, and both sides are equally as positive about it.
Correct.
And they obviously can't both be right.
Yep.
The other name that popped up for the first time today, according to Bleacher Report, Jeff Hoffman, a really good reliever, all-star last year for the Phillies, pitched mostly the 8th inning, but closed. Apparently, he wants to turn into a starter. Jeff Hoffman, if I'm not mistaken, was traded to from Toronto to Colorado in the bushel full of no-name players the Rockies received for Troy Tulowitzki. Remember that deal? They just sent an all-star to Toronto, got all these guys. Jeff Hoffman pitched for Colorado, didn't get anybody out, so they got rid of him, and now he's an all-star, and now he could come to the Padres, potentially.
Can you imagine getting the news that you've been traded to
You're
Colorado?
a pitcher, and you're going to Colorado. Yeah,
That's
not
great
good.
for my career and my future stats and all that.
Not going to help you. Anyway, that's the latest Padres stuff. All right, NFL weekend did start last night. You heard the game here on 97.3 The Fan. The Lions over the Packers 34-31. Lions won it. Final play of the game. Jason Bates. Is it Jason?
Jake.
Jake, thank
Jake
you.
or Jackie? Jake.
Yes, Jake Bates, 35-yard field goal is good.
What, was it just made
It says
right
it
now?
right here on the
okay.
play-by-play.
Oh, I see.
I'm reading the play-by-play. But if you go back a few plays before that, the Lions, with 43 seconds remaining, had 4th and 1 at the 21-yard line. They took a timeout to ponder things. If they attempted a field goal there, it's 38 yards. Bates is going to make that 9 out of 10.
Kicker's been struggling lately.
All right, but he only ended up shooting trying a 35-yarder, so they didn't get a whole lot closer.
True.
But a 38-yarder is pretty much money in the bank. You take the lead, but Dan Campbell said after the game he was concerned that would leave too much time on the clock for Green Bay to try to come back down and kick a tying field goal. So instead of taking basically the sure thing, 3 points, he went for it on 4th and 1 at the 21-yard line. And people are saying, if he didn't make it, they would have blown the game, right? They passed up a 38-yard field goal to win.
Yeah.
So the question is Dan Campbell smart to do what he did, Skraby, or is he dumb and he just got lucky? What do you think?
I think it's a combination of both.
Because it worked out this time, but that doesn't mean it always works out, and there lies the rub.
Let me harken back to the NFC Championship.
All right. Would you like
this is all I got, people.
The glory days of the 49ers.
Let me have it. It's all I have.
All right.
But the 49ers played in the Lions. By the way, 49ers won 34-31, so very similar score here. Actually, the exact
same score
except
last
for
year.
flipped with the winning team. But it was the fourth quarter, and the Lions had a 4th and 3 at the 49ers 30, and they went for it there with 7:32 left in the game.
And they were down.
And they were down 3.
So if they kick the 47-yarder, they tie the NFC Championship
with 7:32 remaining.
But they give the ball back to San Francisco in a tie game.
49ers go 7 plays, 70 yards, 4 minutes 30 seconds off the clock. Now it's a 10-point game.
Right, because the Lions didn't make it. They went for it recklessly,
and they didn't make it. Here's where I go with this. In the regular season, it's all good. You could do these. The Lions had nothing to lose last night, except for maybe playoff seeding, but they're going to have to catch the Eagles if they're going to get the first seed anyway. But it's like...
You mean the Eagles are going to have to catch them? The Lions are 12-1.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, the Eagles have to catch them.
The Eagles have to catch them. Yeah. And so it's easy to go for the regular season, but I will say that Dan Campbell has thought about all of this because he is very consistent when he goes for it on 4th down. I don't know that I would be a fan of, if I'm a Lions fan, of him doing stuff like that in the Super Bowl, but maybe it changes his decision-making. I think regular season and playoffs completely different. What do you think, Chris?
I wish I could say that, but I'm all I see now is everybody, when there's a question, they go for it. I don't see anybody anywhere when there's some sort of question mark, like, all right, it's 4th down, what do you think? They go for it. I don't know who doesn't go for it.
Well, I know that
who punts?
The Lions are 15 for 22 at 4th downs this year.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And last year they were 52% on 4th downs.
Here's the simple math. Now, in this case, it's different. But I don't hate what he did last night, because if they don't make it, then the Packers have 43 seconds to go, basically 50 yards to get in field position to win.
We didn't mention that Jared Goff got stepped on and fell on that play. It could have been a very dangerous play for them.
Well, they made it because Montgomery ran for 7 yards, and they got the first down. They ran the clock out, and then they kicked the field goal. And the Packers could do nothing.
Yeah.
But that's why Dan Campbell did it. So maybe he is smarter. Because I think every other coach, every other player, everybody would have kicked on 4th and 1 at the 21.
Kick the field goal?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that's what everybody would have done.
Oh, yeah.
But Dan Campbell thought it through further and didn't want to give Green Bay time to go back.
Does it seem like
Remember, a touchback or a kick into the end zone now takes the ball out to the 30.
Yeah.
So the Packers would have had the ball at the 30 with 43 seconds. They got a pretty good chance to cover that distance and getting field goal range themselves.
Absolutely. They were
But he
driving
didn't-
down the field all
right.
night.
So Dan Campbell didn't want to give him that chance. Had the Lions not made it on 4th down, the Packers at least would have taken over at their 21. They actually would have had further to go to kick a field goal.
That's a good point.
So I think Dan Campbell was smarter than we all thought, smarter than all of us on this one. But I do get you.
It was 4th
It can
and
backfire.
inches.
It can backfire.
If it was 4th and 2, maybe it's a different decision because
A lot of people are saying he's dumb and he blew it and he got really lucky. I don't know. I think he's smart like a fox on this one.
I know, but at
He
some
thought
point,
it through.
At some point, just like last year in the NFC Championship, going for it on 4th down bites you in the butt.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't have a stat in front of me. But it seems to me the last 107 times that a team has gone for it on 4th down against Miami Dolphins, they've made it all 107.
Well,
I don't think the Dolphins have stopped a 4th down play since the perfect season. It's unbelievable. They give it up every time.
In the Big Five on Wednesday after you left, I had a question specifically for you because there was a reporter for the Dolphins. He's a Dolphins insider who criticized the team, calling them soft, basically because Mike McDaniels is soft. Question was, do you think the Dolphins are soft? Tony and I both said yes.
I think so, too.
Okay.
I've said so.
He cited, the writer cited your problem with the game on Thanksgiving night where they couldn't get in from 1 yard out.
And they didn't try. They tried to pass because they know they're soft.
Yeah.
They know they're soft. And they didn't tackle anybody, which also tells me you're soft.
Yeah, you got to tackle people.
They are soft. My own team. But I got to tell you what it is.
What is it?
It's the countdown coming up next.
Huh?
On Gwynn and Chris. We'll tell you all about it when we return. Welcome back. If you love Mediterranean food like I do, Skraby does, Tony, Spiro's is your place. Authentic Mediterranean cuisine. It's in Coronado. It's in La Jolla. Or you can bring them to you. Dining or takeout options. Visit spiroscuisine.com. 3:38 is the time. One other programming note. Skraby and I and Tony will all be here Monday. Make sure you tune in because also Monday. What is this? All right, I'm going to just read this and then I'll ask you later.
Oh, gosh, I wrote it. So.
All right, also Monday, Sam Levitt will be reporting from baseball's winter meetings.
Yes.
So the very latest you will hear on Monday because Sammy Levitt will be joining us from Dallas. The lead into this says 97.3 The Dan instead of 97.3 The Fan.
My phone autocorrects when I was typing this on my phone. Every single time it autocorrects Fan to Dan.
Yeah.
And yes.
The autocorrect is a curse.
97.3 The Dan.
Yeah. The autocorrect is a curse because you think it's going to work for you and it hurts you.
Well, I should check because I know that happens every time.
You have to check. So make sure Monday you're with us. It'll be a good deal. All right, there's two before we get to our countdown. I think, and I've been, out for a day or two here. And again, thanks to Dr. Anderson out there for shooting me in the butt and getting the right stuff in me to get my voice back.
Yes.
There's two stories that have happened in the last 48 hours that absolutely boggle my mind. Like I can't even imagine these two things happened or, are out there. I want you, Skrabe, to pick the most shocking of the two.
Okay.
I don't really know which one to start with because they're
no idea what you're about to bring up.
They're both they're both stories that I just didn't think we'd see.
Okay.
I'll start with this one because you know this one. The Oakland Athletics spend $67 million on Luis Severino.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Their whole payroll wasn't even $67 million last year, was it?
I never looked, but I should.
I don't think it was. So that is one thing that has happened in the last 48 hours.
Yes.
But, Skraby, is that more shocking than this one?
Yes, the Athletics had a $62 million payroll last year.
So they're giving Severino
$5
more
million
money
more
than the whole team.
Yeah. Hey, you Oregon. I'm seeing Oregon on TV. You Oakland fans, that's for you. Punch you in the face on the way out.
Right. That's right. Good point. Yeah, we wouldn't spend for you, but the minute we leave, we now can do this. So that was one thing I didn't expect. Here's another one I didn't expect. Bill Belichick to the North Carolina Tar Heels?
I have a question in the Big Five.
What? Oh, okay. You want to talk about more in the Big Five?
Well, I mean,
I was like, and everyone's like reporting this with a straight face. Like,
well, it's true.
I know, but this is still crazy. Bill Belichick's going to go to the ACC?
Can you imagine?
What?
Can you imagine, Chris? By the way, the shocking story out of those two has to be the A's spending anything other
you think
than
the
money
A's
on
is
their
more
stadium.
Shocking. Okay.
Bill Belichick, can you imagine him trying to recruit you?
No.
These kids may not have lived the magic of Bill Belichick, but he's the GOAT of football.
So you think
goats.
all of them will want to go there?
I think they're going to want to play for the best coach of all time.
I think it's opposite.
Why?
Because Bill Belichick is a my way or highway guy.
Isn't that what a college program needs?
Yes, but kids don't want that. Kids are their way or the highway.
He's going to find the right ones.
Good luck. There's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of them. Most kids are worried about themselves and themselves only. Sorry, but it's true.
I don't think he wants
true in this day and age. Belichick, back in the Bear Bryant, era, Parsegian, Joe Paterno, whoever you want to say, Woody Hayes, Bobby Bowden. Okay, Belichick's perfect. You come in, he tells you what to do, and you have to do it. Kids don't do that anymore. I don't think Belichick's a fit here at all.
No, I think
if you look at
Oregon with Dan Lanning, whatever he says goes
Dan
on that
Lanning
team.
lets these kids run around like crazy.
But whatever he says goes on that team.
I don't
Bill
believe it.
I think this would be great.
All right.
I think this would be great, and I think that Bill Belichick wants to try a new type of
Something
coaching.
brand new.
Because
I
if he
mean,
goes
look,
back to the NFL, then he has to
why-
restart and find.
Here's the answer to our dilemma or our discussion right here. Okay, here's the answer. Who had more control over their players than Nick Saban? Anyone?
Not in
Anyone?
college, no.
Okay. Why did Nick Saban quit?
Because he couldn't handle the recruitment process.
Couldn't handle the player deal anymore.
But don't you think?
Because that means he lost the control over the players and who he got, who he didn't get, if they kept him, if they didn't, the transfer portal. You have no control. These players can do whatever they want. If you don't play a certain player enough, and even if you do, they're gone. They don't care.
You don't think that?
I don't think Belichick. I don't think Belichick's going to want that. He wants guys that are, going to fall in line.
But it's almost like free agency in football. He was a GM. He understands the business aspect of it all. And you don't think that more money is going to come into North Carolina's program because he's there? You don't think boosters are going to put a bunch of money down?
Sure.
Try to make this team a #1 team in the country? We'll talk about it more in the Big Five.
We'll see. All right, those were the two crazy stories. Let's check traffic. And then today we have our Friday countdown.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few things that might slow you down a bit. Crash on 715 at Sassafras. It's over to the right shoulder, but emergency crews got that slow lane blocked. Also on the 30th Street off-ramp westbound King Freeway accident. We can already check ladder in lanes off of our afternoon commute bingo card. Yep, South 805 before Claremont Mesa Boulevard. It's in the 2 left lanes. Why, yada. And watch out for some debris in the 2 right lanes, south on 15 just before the 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is the countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Kelly Danick, man, every now and again I tell you to listen because you never know what she's going to throw at you. She got a Three Stooges reference in that last traffic update. Outstanding, Kelly.
Three Stooges, overrated.
Well, to a lot of people in this
I get it.
this era.
I'm not their generation.
No, but to the other generations before yours, Stooges, man, it's just like all about them. It's all about the Stooges.
I remember watching as a kid. My grandpa was a big fan of the Stooges.
Yeah, everybody was. So Stooges, forever. But I get how the generations have changed. All right, time for a countdown. Today's countdown, simple, but I think interesting. You can't use guys from your own team. That means no 49ers for you, Skraby.
Oh, I changed that rule because I only have one.
Oh.
And it's a true favorite.
All right, one.
Yeah.
From each team. I don't have any. Who are your 5 favorite NFL players right now? Now, I'm telling you, you're going to like my list because Skraby's going to hate it.
Oh, gosh.
But we'll start with you, Skraby. Who's your number 5 favorite player in the NFL right now?
This is going to be really weird for you to hear because we just talked about this guy.
Who?
Brock Bowers. Tight end for the Raiders.
He's moved into the 5 already.
The reason he's the only newcomer in the list, and the reason that he is very good, but he made a catch on Black Friday. It was down near the goal line, and it was a one-handed catch. And I just have some sort of love for tight ends because tight ends are awesome, and especially ones that can catch. Leading the NFL in catches, he's just doing everything, and it's really fun to watch him play.
He was a man against boys when he was at Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of people thought, well, he's not going to be that in the NFL. But you got to understand, the SEC's almost the NFL, right? And he was a man among those boys.
He might be the next.
And he's dominating for a terrible team that has no reason to guard anybody but him.
Correct.
And he's still open.
That's
impressive.
I love the Brock Bowers stuff, and yeah, he's great.
Number 5 for me is the closest thing to my favorite running back of all time. Do you remember who my favorite running back is of all time? I've said it many times before, but you may not remember.
It's a Dolphin.
No, it isn't. Not even a Dolphin. No.
Is it Roger Craig?
It's Earl Campbell.
Oh.
The all-time Houston Oiler great. The reason I loved Earl Campbell, because he was big, and he could run over you, and he was also one of the fastest guys you've ever seen for his size.
I've seen his highlights.
He was unreal. The closest to that in the NFL right now is my number 5, Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
I love to see him get the ball. I love to see him just explode into a hole. And when he comes out the other side, he's gone. I mean, it's a great
and he's a machine.
Mix of power and speed.
Yeah, he's definitely
Henry.
He's not on my list, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
All right, you'll hate the next one.
Number 4.
My next one is actually going to be, there's some bias in this pick.
Okay.
Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is...
Well, you should like him by now. He's been on your fantasy team for 4 years.
Yes, he has. But,
and he puts up numbers every time.
But if you watch Jamar Chase just himself, he does so many incredible things on the football field, and it's not just catching passes, but when he does have one of those huge games, he's able to go nuclear and go like 3 touchdowns,
He's
250
had some
yards.
games. 17 catches, 400 yards. Yeah, no, I know.
And then
he's crazy
the
good.
breakaway speed that he has is like another gear.
I'll give Jamar Chase this. Has nothing to do with what you just said. But the fact that the Bengals stuck it to him by not offering him a contract, and he said, fine, I'll just go play anyway.
Yeah, and then he's going to leave
And
the
now
team.
he's had an amazing season. That's a feather in his cap.
Yeah, now he's... Yeah, it is.
A lot of guys would have pouted their way through the whole entire season.
Brandon Ayuk. Sorry.
Very fair point. Number 4 for me, I couldn't leave him out because he earned this spot not for what he does on the field, but what I saw on the television show dedicated to him. My number 4 is Patrick Mahomes. I know you hate him. I know you hate him.
I don't hate him.
I think he's, look, he's incredible to watch him play. But when I saw the quarterback show, and that followed him week to week for an entire season, I was really impressed with this guy. He works hard. He doesn't just take anything for granted. He outworks people, and he's got, the skill and the talent. That impressed me. Mahomes, number 4.
I watched that show too.
Yeah.
And he made me a fan.
Right.
But
Even
then when
if
he
you didn't
plays
like him.
my team and he beats up on my team, I hate him.
And he fakes like he's running out of bounds and cuts up field for 30 yards.
That's all I
you
can
want
think
to
about.
strangle him.
Yes, because it always works for him.
I know.
That's not bad. I mean, he was you remember years ago when he was throwing like no-look passes or left-handed passes and everybody was freaking out? Like that was just it was a preview of things to come.
Number 3.
My number 3, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen.
Oh.
He can do it all, and we saw it on display against the 49ers on Sunday. He can even catch a touchdown pass if he wants to.
Did he look like he was like playing indoors?
Yeah.
And everyone else is in the snowstorm.
He doesn't look like anything bothers him.
Unbelievable.
What I love about him, too, is that he loves the fan parts of the game. Like when they told him after the game he's the first quarterback or he's one of the only few, he was so excited to be on that list and like genuinely excited. But he's also really good at football. And I think he might be a Super Bowl bound quarterback this year.
Might be the year for him. All right, number 3 for me will be a surprise to you. But I really am impressed with this guy, and I've seen a bunch of feature stories on him. I also like the way he plays. He dominates the interior line on what I think is one of the toughest football defenses out there, and it's Cam Hayward.
Are you saying this because you just saw him the other day on Hard Knocks?
That was part of it, but no, he got this on my mind because he's also the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. And if you see what the things that this man has done for kids and people in his community, to win that award is about as high honors I think a player can get.
Yes.
Even bigger than MVP.
Yeah.
And Cameron Hayward won that last year out of obscurity, right? They usually give it to quarterbacks. LT won this many years ago. Drew Brees, those kind of people. They don't give it to too many interior linemen.
No.
But Cam Hayward's a wonderful guy. His dad was Craig Ironhead Hayward. I don't know if you even remember this guy, late running back. Used to, run over people back in the day. His brother plays on the Steelers, too. Anyway,
right.
I like guys that can, he's the kind of guy to me that grabs a hold of 4 players and then figures out who has the ball and throws the other three away.
He does.
And then tackles the guy with the ball because he's so big.
He's a great leader, too.
Correct.
Which LT won it? The LT from
Our
the...
LT.
I was going to say, because the other
no,
LT
the
was
LT
not...
probably... You know, Junior Seau. Late Junior Seau won this award also way back when. So it's a hell of an honor, I know that, to players in the NFL.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Saquon Barkley. He's electric.
Is it just because of the backward jump? Like, would he have gotten this high without that one move?
Yeah. Because he always seems to be able to break off one long run, and when he gets going really, like, he can't be stopped. Defenses, he runs right through lines.
70% of his yards this year is in the second half.
Yeah, that too.
You always have him under control, and then he goes crazy.
And then at least once a game, he's probably running for a game-tying touchdown, a game-leading touchdown, something like that. Saquon Barkley is
You're trying to put the jinx on him right now because he's
no.
I
have him in my other fantasy league where I'm actually kind of good. So,
all right.
But I like watching him play.
Number 2 for me is a guy that I feel like I discovered. Nobody else.
Is it Josh Allen?
Yep. I saw him before you did. I saw him before everybody else did at Wyoming, and I said he was going to be great. And he backed me up, so that's why I like Josh Allen, number 2.
Number 1.
My number 1 is a 49er, Fred Warner, linebacker. He's amazing.
He's your guy.
He could do everything, and I appreciate him playing on a broken ankle all season, even though his team's not very good.
My number 1 guy is the strongest, toughest guy in the National Football League.
Tua Tagovailoa.
And he's also one of the most athletic and skilled and gifted players. He's all of those things.
Jared Goff.
And he is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Didn't do much last night, though.
You have a quiet night last night?
Very quiet.
All right. Well, that's a rarity for him.
It is a rarity.
All right, there's our countdown for today. Some Chris versus the fans for you next. 833
288
I've been here for 2 days. Forgot the number.
Brain fog. Back shortly.
now on 97.3 The Fan.
Are we sure it's 97.3 The Fan, or is that 97.3 The Dan?
According to my phone, it's the Dan.
Yes. Skraby's auto type keeps correcting to 97.3 The Dan.
It's so annoying.
Yes, it would be. 4:01 is the time. Happier with us. We got a couple of college conference championship games tonight. The one big one is in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah.
UNLV and Boise State. Winner goes to the playoff. Loser, pretty much season over. Can Genty and the Broncos finish it again? That starts in about an hour. What else is big? Obviously, the game's tomorrow.
I can tell you
college.
what's huge.
And then NFL weekend Sunday. What else you got?
This weekend, I'm calling play-by-play.
Where do I find this? I need to know where to go for this.
Honestly, it's something I've never done before.
No play. What sport?
Esport. It's a video game.
Yo.
There's a video game competition that I have been asked to do play-by-play for.
Esport.
And it's a Rocket League tournament. And now, I've never played Rocket League.
I don't even know what I would do.
But I've been watching YouTube videos. I have played the game.
Rocket League is what?
It's
is it a sport, or is it just a game where you go kill people like a lot of these video games is?
It's you use cars that you drive around, but it's basically arena soccer with cars. So you have 3 versus 3, and you can crawl up the wall and jump off and hit the ball. So it's soccer, arena soccer with race cars.
But this is not a actual thing. This is a video game.
Video game, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you're announcing the video. So you'll be looking at the screen of what's happening in the video game and broadcasting that out to the thousands and tens of thousands that'll be
I think there's probably going to be like 5 people tuned in, but I'm happy with that.
There might be 6, because I may try to find it
I'm
somewhere.
not going to give anyone the link to this. I will play some of it next week, but I'm so nervous already.
We got to hear Skraby call esports.
It's, one of the moves is a 2-tap.
I don't know what that is.
You can also like dribble the ball in your car as you're driving. It's kind of cool. Gotta say. That's a huge thing that's happening this weekend.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay,
I'll give you one thing. I'm going to congratulate him right now.
What?
Oh, wait, I better not. Let's just assume I didn't say that, what I just said.
Why?
Sorry.
Why?
I'll tell you at the break. I can't say it on the air.
Okay.
Chance for you to be qualified. I know everyone's going to wonder now.
I'm wondering.
If you must know, type it in, and maybe Skraby will post it on the chat. Maybe.
I'm not going to.
All right. I boo-booed there.
Okay.
You're going to be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. It's a 2-night stay at Westgate, Las Vegas. 2 tickets, Soul of Motown. $150. Food and beverage credit. Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations. The award-winning Soul of Motown, high-energy, concert-style musical tribute celebrating Motown legends. It's must-see during your next Vegas vacation getaway. Tickets at WestgateResorts.com. Let's play.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Wow, that was the juiciest secret I've ever heard.
It was a little juicy.
It was the juiciest.
But you
secret
understand
I've ever
why I
heard.
couldn't say it on the air.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with anything
Not
other than
really,
like
no.
Chris's life.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's
You have to
we
make
got
it through.
everybody confused out there. Sorry about that, but
Yeah.
you'll just have to be confused on this one.
We'll tell you Monday, and you'll be underwhelmed.
There you
by
go.
it.
You're right. Yes, you will. On Monday, you'll be like, "Well, what'd you tell us
It's
for?"
a big deal for Chris. It's not a big deal for any of us.
Exactly.
You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, Let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that question for free today. And Chris versus the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. All right, let's get to our first contestant. I see a couple new names up here, which is nice.
All right.
Let's go to Steven, one of those new names. Hello, Steven.
Hello.
Are you ready to play?
Steven, where are you calling from, Steven?
Ramona.
Okay.
Ramona.
Good old Ramona.
How is it out there right now? Is it hot or cold?
Beautiful. Oh, no, it's freezing.
Oh,
yeah,
freezing.
it's cold.
Right
It's
now,
way up on the hill.
Beautiful,
Straight.
clean air. Love it.
Yeah, it's high altitude, Ramona.
I know. I used to play Ramona in the
Well,
Avocado
you
League
obviously
back in the
didn't
day.
know because
We
you
didn't
just
go
asked
there.
Steven whether it was hot or cold.
Okay. Steven, I'm sorry you have to
Steven,
be a part of
thanks
this.
for coming on. Good
All
luck.
right, here we go. Question number 1. Where did Matthew Stafford play college football?
Oh, my God.
It's been a while. It's not a bad little tricky one. It's a tricky one, but once you hear it, you're going to be mad if you miss it.
Was he at Georgia? The Red, Georgia.
He's going red, Georgia. Winner.
All right.
You pulled it out.
Okay. Here we
Steven,
go.
good luck. Don't cheat, Steven, because Skraby's going to come
Chris
down
knows
on your
my
butt.
tone of voice.
Yeah,
No, I was thinking of Bradford.
But you're not allowed to think on this show.
He's also on his phone, so it would be different. You know. Okay, I get it. Okay, Steven, we're going question number 2. No problems. Caleb Williams was taken number 1 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Who was number 2?
Number 2. Oh my God. I don't know, man.
Doesn't know. Stay there though.
You know how bad I am at the draft.
Yes, but you know this.
But I think I got Jaden Daniels for this one.
Sorry, Steven.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend in Ramona. Skraby and I'll be up to visit. Probably never, actually.
That's mean.
It's so far.
It's not that far.
Get us a promotion. Get us a.
I'm going to take Lucky up there for some cold weather.
Get us a sponsor in Ramona. We'll go visit the nice people.
I would love to go to Ramona. There was a bar rescue in Ramona one time that I watched. It was kind of fun.
Okay, no. I believe you.
All right. Let's go back to the beginning. Our next contestant. We'll go to Kyle in San Diego. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
You
Happy
too, Kyle.
Friday. All right, here we go.
Too.
Question number 1. What is the mascot for the University of Oregon?
What? Come on.
Oh, Ducks.
Ducks is correct. I like how they have the little Donald Duck guy.
What I like is on their basketball, they usually go with fighting ducks, which I don't even get the reference.
Ducks are kind of mean.
They can be.
I think it was, wasn't it like Donald Duck who was associated as the mascot back in the day, and then they pulled it?
I think you're right. I think we did look this up one time, actually, and I think you're right that there was some controversy with Donald Duck.
Fair enough.
Anyway, you get it right. We move on to question number 2. All right, this one's kind of crazy, but stay with me. There are 5 quarterbacks that have thrown for over 400 yards in a game this season in the NFL. Name 2 of those 5.
Just 2?
Just 2, because it's the second question.
400 yards or
more. 5 quarterbacks have done it this year.
All right. Well, good luck. Just throw some quarterback. Only gets 2 guesses, though, right?
2 guesses, yes.
All right. But they got to both be right. Who you going with?
Burrow.
Burrow 1 and
Okay.
And
3, 2. Give me a name.
Come on, Kyle. Name.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Okay. It is difficult to go through that while you're driving, to be honest. I'm not hating on Kyle for that.
Was he right?
No. But
Well,
stay
then
there.
buzz him.
Stay there, Kyle. I did.
Oh. I'm pretty sure Burrow's won for sure that one game against Baltimore. Maybe did it twice. And I'm just go the other night. Jameis Winston did it. Yeah. Sorry about that, Kyle. Who were the other 3, Scrape?
The other 3 were Kirk Cousins owns the largest.
Oh yeah, he had
most
the
passing
5
yards this
something
season
this year. Yeah,
509, I think, and
Yeah.
then it was Russell Wilson last weekend against the Bengals.
Okay.
And then Jared Goff against the Jaguars. He had over 400 yards passing.
All right, thank you, Skraby. Very well done. Sorry to you, Kyle. Next up,
Let's go to. Sorry to who's been waiting. I've never seen Ulysses here on our chat, but Ulysses, what's going on?
What's up? First time player.
First time
All
player.
right.
All right, we go to question number 2 then.
Honestly, I don't know another Ulysses since the 18th president.
I was going to say, the only Ulysses I know is Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah, I love your name, man. Good luck to you.
Is there a name that's short for Ulysses?
Well, they call my dad Uli.
Uli.
There
Okay.
you go. Okay,
All right.
fair enough.
We're learning
So I'm the
something
second.
today. Oh, Ulysses the second.
Very good. Well,
I like
thank you
this.
for being with us, sir.
Yes.
Good luck.
Here we go. Question number 2.
All right.
There are only 2 wide receivers that have over 1,000 yards receiving so far this season in the NFL. Name both.
You said this season?
Yeah, this season.
This season, over 1,000 yards receiving. 2
I'm gonna
guys.
say St. Brown
Okay.
and yeah, no clue.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Stay there. Stay there.
Well,
You
I'm
didn't
gonna go
give
with
Chris
the 2 off
another
the
one.
top of my head. Chase. The second one, he's been slumping, but I think he's still up there. Is Jefferson. Chase and Jefferson.
I'm sorry, Ulysses.
Sorry, Ulysses. Thanks for
Hey,
playing.
guys.
Though.
This is
Play
messed
again.
up because I like your name.
Play. Yeah, I did too.
Call us back. Yes, it's Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
They're both the only ones.
Yep.
You know,
Tyreek has
1,000 yards receiving used to be really incredible in the NFL.
guess-
Now it's really not much,
Oh.
to be honest with you.
Now 1,000 yards rushing is incredible.
Right, because you don't get a chances.
All right, let's go to Julian. Hello, Julian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. Are you ready to
Julian,
play?
you're not calling from Julian, are you?
Nope,
All right.
had a lot too.
Yeah, I know. That's just how.
We
That's
are
how
the
my
king of
mind.
bad
That's how
jokes
my.
right now.
I know. That's how my idiotic mind
That
works.
was the second time you hit me with that one.
So he even makes the same joke to the same person.
The same bad joke twice.
Oh, I
yeah,
love it.
that's
I love it.
embarrassing.
Thanks for
All right.
thanks for hanging
That's
in
the
there,
guy that
Julian.
you
You
Thank
got me on that one, Julian. Good luck.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Where did Saquon Barkley go to college? Or Saquon Barkley?
Penn State.
Yep, Chris's favorite school in the world, Penn State.
They could use him tomorrow.
He was a Nittany Lion.
He played against the Aztecs one day, and I sat on the sideline,
Really?
so I ran up and down the field.
Oh, that must have been a bad day for the Aztecs.
It was.
Okay.
It was.
Second question. I hate that we already kind of talked about this today, but it's in the question list. Who has the most catches in the NFL right now?
Brock Powers.
There
Hey,
you go.
boy. Julian was on
Nice
it.
job, Julian. Here we go. Third and final question.
Very good.
What NFL team currently holds the longest streak in the NFL without a playoff win? What NFL team currently holds the longest streak in the NFL without a playoff win?
I'm gonna pass.
Oh, he's playing the game.
Yeah, but he passed on the wrong one.
How
Is
do you?
that right? I know it because they're my team.
I'm sorry, Julian.
It's the Dolphins. It's
I thought maybe
embarrassing.
you would get tripped up or something.
No, I know this. Believe me, because whoever had the longest finally got a win and put the Dolphins in that spot. It's not a spot I like to be in. Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000.
I feel bad for Julian.
Sorry, Julian.
I kind of set him up.
Yeah, I thought he's going to win, but you hit me with one that I know in my right in my house.
I'm going to
there,
take this one
wheelhouse.
home with me this weekend.
Oh, stop it.
I feel
Julian
bad for
will be
Julian.
fine.
Julian was a great player. He played the game right, and then I led him into a trap. Let's go to Mike in San Diego.
To a trap.
And no, we're not doing the Mike's barbecue joke, okay?
He's not the Mike from
Hey guys,
Oh, that's
first,
right.
first time player.
First time player.
Good to have you, Mike.
All
Good
right,
to have
Mike.
you. Good luck.
Here we go. Question number 2. Who hit the most home runs for the Padres in the month of June this year? It's a very important month for the Padres.
Jackson Merrill.
Jackson Merrill is correct. Nice job. Then the recently departed Kyle Higashioka was second for that month.
All right, Kyle is still alive. Let's not.
I said recently departed, which is true.
I know. But
He's in Texas now.
that sound really sad.
All right, here we go. Question number 3, Mike.
For the win, Mike.
Andy Reid leads all active NFL head coaches in regular season wins. Which coach is second?
Active coach.
Active coach.
Second.
Second in regular season wins currently.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin is correct. Nice
Very good,
job, Mike.
Good debut for you.
Yeah.
Stay
Fellow
on the
Mike.
line. Mike is undefeated, unscored upon.
Unscored upon. That
Yes,
is pretty good.
in
That was
his,
a dominant performance.
Yes, in his Chris vs. the Fans career, Mike is right at the top of the list. Well done, Mike. You got them both. You got a chance to go to Las Vegas. We hope
Stay
it's
there.
you. Stay there. Skraby gets your information after we check traffic and then check on back in.
Ooh, I know what I want to talk about.
What?
You never got to talk about the Aztecs winning the other night.
Yes, I would like a little Magoon Gwath talk.
Thank you. I need Magoon Gwath talk, too.
Oh, man, I love Magoon Gwath talk. More to come.
From the
for you. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr. idle today. Matt Skraby's alongside here in the Odyssey Palace. Skraby stays on at 6 o'clock for the Skraby Chronicles. That's not the good news. This is Padres have just finalized their coaching roster for 2025.
That's why it pays to have notifications when the Padres
And yes, we've got the list for you, and it includes, at the very least, the two guys we really, really wanted back as coaches. One as the hitting coach, one as the pitching coach. Scrape, what do you got?
Here's the full shakeout for the coaching staff in 2025. Mike Schill, obviously we know he is the manager. Then we have Brian Esposito as the bench coach. Ruben Niebla is back, everybody. He is the pitching coach. Victor Rodriguez is also back as the hitting coach. Ben Fritz stays in the bullpen as the coach. Tim Leeper, third base coach. David Macias, first base coach. Mike McCoy, not the same Mike McCoy that coached the Chargers here in San Diego.
They're not bringing him back, huh?
No, he's assistant hitting coach. But Pat O'Sullivan, another assistant hitting coach. Peter Somerville, Alberto Andrade, Morgan Burkhart, Alan Craig, A.J. Ellis, and Craig Stammen are special assistants. Scott Stroud, and then Chris Apachica, coaching assistant.
If you named any more there, I was going to think I was going to get in there.
Oh, Chris Ello right here.
Yeah, right.
Left bench warmer.
Left bench warmer. I'm good at I can, provide some insight.
But that's all what we expected, and that's good.
Well, it's what we wanted. I mean, look, it's kind of a non-story because Niebla and Victor are both
we don't
back.
have to worry about anything.
Right. But if either of those had been not retained, that'd be a huge deal.
Huge.
Right?
Because they could not afford to lose Ruben Niebla.
Or the hitting coach.
True. But Ruben Niebla is very important.
It's the first hitting coach that I can remember since the open Petco Park that we've liked. Every other guy just got fired right after a couple of months.
It's true.
Victor
Rodriguez.
God love you.
Yeah.
All right.
But basically the same coaching staff, like first base coach, third base
It's
coach.
okay.
Yeah, that's good. Keep the continuity. It worked last year, so why not bring it back?
Tomorrow night, the city championship will be contested. That would be San Diego State men's basketball versus the University of San Diego men's basketball. Sorry about this, Toreros, but yeah, this seems kind of like an Aztec night. Now, the Toreros have had some, teams, and they really have in the last, 15, 20 years, but this year they don't seem to have much.
No.
The Aztecs told their best player, Wayne McKinney, and the Aztecs are top 25 and probably headed higher. So that's tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, 7 o'clock. Gotta like I'm not trying to knock the Toreros because I know we got a lot of USD fans out there, but this would be a hell of an upset if USD beats them. So
it's kind of cold to steal one of their players, Brian Dutcher.
Hey, it's all fair and love is war right now.
I guess so.
But the other night in Fresno, Magoon Guath. Don't be surprised if the first place you heard that name wasn't on this show. Because we started talking about Magoon 2 months before the season even started. Mark Ziegler came on and said, keep an eye. Ziegler also said, understand that he's a freshman. He's not going to be incredible every game, but there are going to be nights when he is incredible.
And that happened.
And that happened on Wednesday in Fresno. 25 points, 10 rebounds. And as Ben Higgins so expertly pointed out in one of his tweets, how many guys do you know that lead the nation in block shots also go 3 for 3 from the three-point arc shooting? That's what he did.
Yeah.
He leads the country in block shots. He's number one of anyone. And then he steps out and hit 3 straight threes. Guy's a freak. He's a freak of nature, and he's only a freshman. And if he, just keeps getting better and better, oh, my goodness, sky seems to be the limit. Aztecs, handled Fresno State. So they keep rolling. Good luck to USD tomorrow night, but you guys got your work cut out for you.
You probably already read this in Mark Ziegler's article, but Magoon Guath did something for the first time in Aztecs history. He was the first freshman to have a 20-10 game since Kawhi Leonard did it in
Yes.
2010, but Kawhi Leonard did it in January, and Magoon Guath did it
in like 7 games into the season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anytime you're
you
mentioned
get in the
a
same
Bud,
name, yeah, that's a good
you're
spot to be in with Kawhi.
You're good.
Magoon Guath, our guy.
I love his name, by the way.
I love his name. I think everybody loves his name. I'm gonna try this, Skrabe.
What?
Because you brought it up, and I don't think it's that. You think it's too bad?
No, go for it. If you don't think it's bad, I didn't know. I didn't want to get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's just say I want to.
No, let's not.
We've done this
I just
twice
looked it up.
to the listeners
I just
today.
looked it up. It's not good.
All right.
It's not what I thought it was.
We
what
mean
I
it
always
in
thought
such a good way.
What I always thought when you go to Rocco and to your tough guys and Bruto, and go beat those guys up.
Yeah.
You call those guys
goons.
Yes. But I looked up the word. It's not necessarily what it means in this day and age. So
I know we're in an era, Chris, where if we say it, we could be fired because we didn't know we stumbled onto something.
Yeah. So I used to think that that word was just associated with kind of the heavies in the mafia, make the guy find his wallet type of guy.
I'll just say it. I think I could say it. It is a mafia related word.
I think it is.
And I'm going to include his full name in it. But his nickname or his fans have to be called the Magoon Squad,
or just
the Goon Squad.
Yeah,
it's a great nickname.
It's a perfect nickname. I don't think it means any harm. I just I don't want everybody to take it wrong.
Yeah, we didn't mean it in any sort of way other than that. His name is Magoon, and it's too perfect not to name his fans that.
I can't argue with you, and we're both wearing Aztec shirts, as you can see.
Oh, my God. When Chris walked in today, I go, oh, we're matching again.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take back all the Aztec stuff I gave to you so that we stop dressing alike.
But you did give me a bunch of Aztec stuff, and I just wear it all the time.
You wear it all the time now. All right. Good job, Aztecs. Keep on rolling. They're up to number 16 in the ESPN Power Rankings, which is a number I think is more commiserate where they should be, as opposed to number 24 ranking. Look.
Wait, 16? They're
They're
only
16 in the power rankings.
Oh, power rankings.
In the power rankings, they're 24th in the polls. But how many teams have played 4 top 10 teams already this year and are 2-2 against them?
I don't know.
I mean, that in itself ought to get you in the top 20.
Oh, and something that
and then
mentioned
Creighton
yesterday.
beat Kansas.
Exactly.
So that was a huge thing for San Diego State,
huge,
of course, because
very big.
The Aztecs didn't just beat Creighton; they whipped them.
Yeah.
On a neutral floor.
And Creighton whipped Kansas.
All right.
By double digits.
What's next? The Big Five. Gwynn and Chris coming up. More.
Ben and
Which means they're really normally nowhere close to actually being the top 5 scorers.
Technically,
of the day.
Chris, it's the best of the rest.
I see. Right, we covered all the
main stuff.
We play the hits, and then Skraby hits the rest of it. I was watching. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're playing for the CUSA championship.
Okay.
Jacksonville State's quarterback runs a kind of an option play where he keeps the ball, runs 65 yards downfield, gets dragged down at the 10-yard line. Next play, he keeps it and runs again. And he just gets tackled for like a 2-yard loss because he's dead tired. Why do coaches do that? They do that all the time. A guy makes an 80-yard run, and the next play they give him the ball again. I don't get it. Bring someone else in.
I think he's probably scared to tap out because of what happened to Anthony Richardson.
Maybe. But
you can't be telling the coach.
Well, tell the coach to hand off. Give him one play to rest. He just ran 70 yards for you. Happens all through football.
You call a timeout for him or something?
I don't know about that, but you watch the next time a guy runs 70 yards. He'll get the ball in the next play. It makes no sense to me.
Anthony Richardson, tap his helmet.
Oh, stop.
He's been great ever since he did that, so.
Seems to have turned his career around.
It did.
All right, let's go to the Big Five, see what you got.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Scratchers from the California Lottery. Give the gift of play this holiday. Crash has cleared in the East County, westbound 8 near Mollison, so speeds are getting back to normal there. Southbound side of the 15 near the 52, got a crash involving a couple vehicles. It's over the right shoulder. Southbound side of the 163 Cordell traffic cam shows a collision just before Balboa. It's in the center divide. It looks like emergency crews have got that left lane blocked. And another problem up ahead right before the 5. An accident involving a couple vehicles. Looks like that is over to the right shoulder. December nights in full swing in Balboa Park. Traffic a little congested in the area. It's suggested to try and take advantage of public transportation if you can manage. If you're looking for the perfect gift, give Scratchers from the California Lottery. With so many to choose from, you're sure to find the right gift for anyone on your list. Give the gift of Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
final Big Five of the week. I had to dig for some of these stories, Chris, so feel...
so it could be especially crazy?
It could be especially crazy. We're going to talk about Bill Belichick. We're going to talk about Matt LaFleur, and then Eric Hosmer on his podcast said he told a story about something that Scott Boras did in negotiations.
Okay.
And I'm going to play that audio for you. But we're going to start with the news that we just talked about.
Number 5.
Which would be the Padres finalizing their 2025 coaching staff. Don't worry, everyone. Ruben Niebla is coming back. Mike Schilt is obviously coming back. And Victor Rodriguez is coming back. Esposito is coming back. And all of the guys that we want to be on the coaching staff in 2025 are there. So, Chris, now that we know this, we can ask this question. How catastrophic would it have been if Ruben Niebla did not come back?
I think catastrophic's a little much. I mean, ultimately the pitchers do the job, and a pitching coach can only be as good as his pitchers. But having said that, it would have approached catastrophe.
Thank you.
Had he not come back.
And, I mean, I agree with you. The reason why is because every pitcher that we talk to always brings up Ruben Niebla's name at some point during the interview.
He's the pitching whisperer.
He's the pitching whisperer.
He's the guy.
They had to bring him back. They did. And we
he
don't
could
have
have
to
held
worry
him
about
hostage, really. And we don't know that
Maybe
he didn't.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Padres could have said, here's $1 million, and Ruben Niebla could have said, yeah, I'm only taking 30.
He was like, ha!
Yeah.
I'm only taking 30
Right.
million. I'm going Juan Soto money, okay?
But I think Ruben likes it here. They love him.
If you
Match
wanna,
made in heaven.
If you want to see all of the moves, because I know that Craig Stam is a part of the coaching staff now, just go to Padres Twitter or Padres.com. You'll be able to find it there.
Number 4.
Now, I forgot to pull the audio that I was going to use here, so give me a second, Chris. This is just what I do on
Why don't
Friday.
you just tell me the story, though, and then I'll at least be
I
able
need
to
the
talk
audio
for you.
to be ready. Okay, so Eric Hosmer, we've been talking about Scott Boras and his negotiating tactics. Well, Eric Hosmer, on his podcast, Digging Deep, he was asked about anything that Boras did during the time that he was before he signed with the Padres, that offseason. What did Scott Boras do to help kick the Padres into gear? Here's what Eric Hosmer said.
It's all tactics to the media. When I was a free agent, Case and I were dating at the time, and she was living in Boston. So Boston really had, they had a phone call of interest, but nothing further than that when I was a free agent. I was about to have my meeting with San Diego and go on my visit. Scott's like, hold tight. Why don't you stay in Boston? We're going to have them book your flight. They're going to book it from Boston to San Diego. And that's a tactic right there. And it's like, was he in Boston going through some meetings or what was going on? So it's all games, buddy. You just don't know what the hell is true and what's not.
I think we should all take this advice very carefully, Chris, because these things do happen, and we know that. And I'm not saying that this is the reason the Padres signed Eric Hosmer, but he did end up signing an 8-year, $144 million deal. Padres are in the final year of paying his contract, and after this year's $12.24 million is off. After this year, that $12.24 million is off the books. So I'm up first. How much is this actually a part of the process? I think it's more a part of the process than we really even know. I wouldn't be surprised if they booked some Shohei Ohtani tickets somewhere just to put his name on a register somewhere so that people investigating would see it. But can't you see through some of these lies? Why would it make you pay more money for a player just because he had some meetings in Boston? I mean, he's going to meet with plenty of teams. I don't understand why this may have made a team panic, but I think it does play a big role. Chris?
I don't know if it does or not. I'm sure it plays a role, but I also think the other side is probably a little more savvy than Hosmer's letting on. Agents try to pull some shenanigans. I think the teams have seen the shenanigans before.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's, completely pulling the wool over their eyes. I will say this. This is mean.
It worked?
No, this is mean. But I'll say this.
Okay.
I wish the shenanigans would have backfired and Boston would have signed him.
Oh, would
have made our life a whole lot easier.
Nope, we cannot change history, Chris, because that would have changed whether or not we never know. If Manny Machado came to town, we would never know.
All right.
he might actually be a Red Sox right now.
Yeah, I'd have at least 25 minutes of my life back waiting for Hosmer for interviews in spring training. Ugh.
Chris will never let this
I
go.
will never let that go. He just doesn't make us sit there all day.
All right,
Come
I guess
on,
we could
Oz.
tell the story now, but it was the last interview of the day in spring training, and we just needed, he was done with practice. He said, hey, I'll do the interview with
It'll
you
be
guys.
a minute.
It'll be a couple minutes. I just need to go take a shower and change my clothes and get ready to leave. And we're like, okay, cool. I think it was like 45 minutes, Chris.
I know it was.
Chris was sleeping
He
on the
shaved,
bench.
he styled his hair, picked the nose hairs out of his nose.
Chris was really bothered by this, and I'm not saying that I wasn't,
Well,
but
it was rude.
it's just what we
He
deal
knew we
with.
were waiting.
But that's what we deal with pro athletes. Some
Yeah.
pro athletes walk
And guess
to
what?
their own drum.
And guess what? Some reporters forgive and forget, and others hold on to it.
Yes,
I happen to be in the hold on to it category when it comes to that.
Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur got involved in a verbal altercation with a fan before Thursday's game against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. Speaking to reporters after his team's 34-31 loss, LaFleur explained the situation by saying the quote-unquote arrogant fan was quote-unquote talking junk to Packers players, and later got in LaFleur's face before players from both teams and officials stepped in to de-escalate things. Now, there is video of this. If you go to Awful Announcing, you can see it, but it's all happening like right around the national anthem time. The fan was a part of a group who was on the field before the game to hold the American flag during the performance of the national anthem. He then appeared to look in the direction of the Packers sideline when LaFleur started yelling at him. Chris, who's in the wrong here?
LaFleur.
Really?
Yeah,
LaFleur.
I want you to be able to defend yourself against stupid fans. I do. But there are just stupid fans. And you got to be bigger. No matter how absurd and idiotic they are. So, that's my answer.
All right. Who's
What
in
do
the
you
wrong
got?
here? I my bias is coming in because he called the Lions fan arrogant, which
Oh, so you like that. and
Is this the feeling you guys have when you think about the 49ers and me? Because now I'm feeling like this with
Yep.
the Lions. Oh, gosh, it is not a good feeling. I don't think you can be someone who's a part of a group that's unfurling a flag on the field and yelling at players. That's just not something you should do. And
Of course you shouldn't. Fans are idiotic. The word fan is short for fanatic.
Doesn't make it okay.
Doesn't make it okay, but understand that you're going to have to deal with some of that, especially when you're on the road, and especially when you're going into Detroit, where they are feeling their oats right now. And you just got to play ball. Come on. Really, Matt LaFleur, you're worried about what some fan is saying to you? Are you not working on your game plan? Get out of here.
This is a very
Grow
strange
up.
take from you. He is like 35, so
Yeah, he's one of the youngest coaches.
Number 2.
All right, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Bill Belichick, who won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, has had discussions with North Carolina about the Tar Heels head coaching job, sources told ESPN. Belichick has been out of football this past year after leaving the Patriots following the 2023 season, and sources told ESPN that he wants to coach again and is open to listening to people at the college and NFL level. So I know that we talked about this already. You said that it wouldn't be a good idea, or you didn't think he would be successful at recruiting. Or no, what did you say?
I think that he'd have trouble coaching this generation of
that's it.
athlete.
Yes. But isn't that what he's doing when he's coaching the draftees and the rookies and all of that stuff?
No, once you're getting paid to play, now he's got some command over you. In that
They
sense,
are getting paid to play.
Well, okay.
Do I think that Bill Belichick would be successful in college? Yes, absolutely. I think that it would maybe be a short-lived thing because the NFL would come calling, but I do think that there are kids out there that he would find that would love to play the Patriot Way system. And I think there are parents out there that would love for their kids to play in the Patriot Way system. So I think he would be successful.
I think he'd probably ultimately be somewhat successful. He is Bill Belichick. He knows the game as well, if not better than anyone. But I think the whole thing's a ruse. I don't think he wants to
get him
coach
back
college.
in the NFL?
Yeah, I think he wants to get back in the NFL, and he wants to make sure that somebody's out there making a play for him so that, they can't just lowball him. Belichick at college is no. It doesn't work. It's completely, just like, no, it's deprogramming my entire computer process.
Well, he could go back to the Jet, or he never actually coached the Jets, right? He quit before he even started, isn't that right?
I don't think he ever actually coached the Jets.
So he could be a Jets coach if he wanted to be. Could be possibly a Giants coach, but I want him to be a Tar Heel coach. I want to see him run that ram out on the field with him.
Number 1.
For the first time since 2019, NBA preseason games are going to be played in China. ESPN's Shams Charania and Brian Windhorst reported yesterday that the Brooklyn Nets and Phoenix Suns are going to face off during 2 preseason contests in Macau. Is that how you say it, Macau? All right.
Close enough.
The games will take place in October of 2025, and they are going to be occurring at the Venetian Arena, which is part of the Las Vegas Sands conglomerate controlled by the owners of the Dallas Mavericks. An agreement is expected to be officially announced on today, and 2 more contests are also planned for China in 2026. So my question for you, Chris, is it fair to drag players all around the world for exhibition games?
It's starting to get close to not being fair. But I have a feeling the NBA is not going to stop until somebody suggests the moon. I mean, I think you're going to see a game in Antarctica one day with some arena be built just special for the game.
Like, we're going to play a game underwater.
Yeah, it's getting to be, they want to take over the world. That's where they all, and there's a lot of dollars, the Chinese market. So, yeah, you got to bring the game there. So, yeah, I'm sorry, you just don't have a choice. Look,
you
NBA
think Kevin Durant.
Look, I've flown to China before.
Really?
And I did not have the luxuries of an NFL player. I mean, an NBA player on a private jet with all kinds of leg room. And
hey, Jason
so
Tatum's
just
sitting
get
coach,
over it.
Okay,
get over it.
Get over it.
Yeah.
It's also unfair for the Brooklyn Nets. They have to fly like twice as far to get to China.
Hang with them. Hang with them.
This is crazy.
Well, what do you think? You think they should just not do it?
At least make it a regular season game. I don't understand an exhibition game. They're literally flying these guys for 15 hours across the world.
When 10,000 people buy a Ben Simmons Brooklyn Net jersey in China,
is he still on the Nets?
Yes.
Does he play?
Not very well, but he's on the roster.
Okay, well, you're right. Everybody's going to buy a Brooklyn Nets Ben Simmons jersey, and it's going to be all worth it.
That's the way it goes.
I'm just tired of everything, and I know I've said this
They're
a million
taking
times.
over the planet.
I'm
the
just
NFL,
tired of everything
the NBA.
being about money.
Yeah.
It's all
I ain't got nothing for you, man. It's a hang with them. I mean, because it's all about the almighty dollar.
It is.
What number was that?
That was it, Chris.
Oh,
we
good.
finished early today, which is a shocker.
Kind of snappy, big 5 there.
Yeah, I
Very
told
good.
you, bottom of the barrel topics today. For the
No,
big
it's
5.
good. You did your thing.
Okay.
When we come back, and I know we're not quite to the top of the hour. We're almost there. But we'll kick off the 5 o'clock hour with a story about a Hall of Famer that needs your prayers. We will explain to kick off the 5 o'clock hour. Things will get a little happier after that. Keep you up to date on what's happening around the association. The Lakers are underway in Atlanta tonight. Hopefully the Lakers have decided to show up. Right now they're leading 19-16, and LeBron's already made a 3.
Wow.
Speaking of the Lakers, I think this is just a result of the fact they're playing poorly right now. But I did see a tweet that everyone is calling J.J. Redick in the Laker organization. They're calling him J.J. Reddit now. And they've lost all respect for him, and they don't care. I'm chalking this up to the fact that they're in a slump.
Yeah, I think so.
But you know how things get. You get into a slump, everybody starts criticizing everything.
Yeah, John Lynch had to come out and say today that it's ridiculous that Kyle Shanahan's rumors are out there of being fired. But
no, you're the one that continues those rumors about
I am
Kyle
not
Shanahan.
continuing, but I think you're right about that, though.
Because Redick, after they were 10-4. He's the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
Now that they've lost 6 out of 8, he's J.J. Reddit.
Is he a big Reddit guy?
I don't know what that. I don't know how.
Maybe he gets
what
his
a criticism
tips.
that is.
It's kind of a criticism. It means you're you're a social media guy.
Gwynn and Chris, happy hour. Next. o'clock. San Diego, California, heading into a weekend. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s idle today. Crisello, Matt Skraby taking care of you until 6 o'clock. Then Skraby sticks around for the Skraby Chronicles. Coming up.
I still can't change the name because I refuse
By
to
the
change
way, I know
graphics.
it's cold in here, but could you
is
show...
freezing.
I know, but is there any way you could just show people your new T-shirt? I think it's so you, especially at the Christmas time of year. Look at him. Look at him. He is... We call him this, but he is the Grinch. Skraby is the Grinch, and that is the
best shirt I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean that is so you, because it's not just a Grinch; it's the diabolical-looking Grinch.
Yeah, it's the Grinch that has his smile all the way up, and he's got a Santa hat on.
Yeah, that's you.
That is if I could.
That shirt was made for you. Who made it?
I honestly
just find it online somewhere.
I was looking at shirt designs and I thought it was awesome.
No, that's you.
Because if I could do one thing, Chris, like the Grinch, it would be to make my smile go all the way up when something bad happens and I like
Why is it when I think about being the Grinch, the thing I would try to do is return all the presents to the kids, make people happy? Why is it? Yeah, I know.
I always feel bad for the
That's
dog.
a foreign thought for you.
I always feel bad for the dog.
Maybe the little dog who leads the sled.
I don't remember his name.
I don't either. What's the Grinch's dog's name? Anybody help us there?
I'll figure it out. But I feel bad for the dog.
Grinch's dog.
Dog.
There he is. Nope, he doesn't have a name at the moment.
Max.
Yeah, there he is, Max.
He's so cute with the little antler tied to his head.
Oh yeah. No, you can get a Max doll. I can buy you one, $19.95 on eBay.
Oh, what if I got Lucky a little hat with the antler? That would be fun
for his Christmas.
Well, we are going to
disguise.
We're not going to take like a real Christmas photo, but we are going to take a Christmas photo.
All right. 5 o'clock football hours presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, where B-Dubs is football. Visit Buffalo Wild Wings every Friday. Half-price apps and $2 off all tall drafts. 2 of the conference championship games are getting underway shortly. You have the American Conference Championship between Army and Tulane. You also have the Mountain West, Boise State, UNLV. They're both getting underway right now. The other conference championship game is the Conference USA. Jacksonville State leads Western Kentucky 14-3.
We're getting to the serious time of football, which is awesome.
I
was telling Sam yesterday, when you get to the NFL games on Saturday, you know things are serious.
I had a thought about the Army Tulane thing.
Okay.
Because that's the way I am. And then I want to tell you about a Hall of Famer who could use some of our good wishes. Here's my Army Tulane thing. If Tulane had not finished in second place, you know who would have? Navy. So the championship game would have been between Army and Navy.
Well, that would have been crazy.
Well, here's what would have been crazier. They play each other anyway next weekend.
I was thinking
in the regular Army-Navy game. They could have played Army-Navy tonight for the championship, and then I guess they would have come back and played each other again next week in the annual Army-Navy game.
Which title is more important to them?
I'm not sure.
That's a good point.
So that could have happened. It didn't happen, but it could have.
That is weird.
It was close to happening. Army finished first. I think Navy finished third.
Like, you play the first game, which probably doesn't matter.
For the conference title, and then you come back and play the next week in the game that's the Army-Navy game.
That is wild. That would have been fun to see.
Well, it didn't quite happen.
No.
Here's the Hall of Famer. Did you see this story, Skrabe?
I did, but I don't quite understand all of it.
Well, it's not needing to be understood a whole lot. The Hall of Famer in question here is the great wide receiver Randy Moss. And he has taken a hiatus from his role as an analyst on the Sunday NFL Countdown. Moss is dealing with a health issue, and he's asked fans to pray for him and his family. He directed his message to men. He urged them to get checkups and blood work done. He did not specify any particular illness, but if you're talking about men, and you're talking about checkups, and you're talking about blood work, we're probably talking about the same thing that our friend Mike Haynes came in and talked to us all about.
Way back when.
And that is getting a
Prostate,
checkup, prostate checkup all the time, because it's something men can do. And it can prevent this thing from happening. Now, I'm not saying that's it, because Randy Moss has not revealed it. But it's a good reminder to any guy out there. Get your checkups. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, prostate checkup. It's simple, it's easy, and it can prevent you from ever getting that. Anyway.
I haven't done it yet.
Randy Moss said, he asked for everybody's prayers right now. He's battling something. He says, I'm battling something, man, and it's something internal. Your body's going to get through it. I got a great team of doctors. Moss is going to step away for NFL Countdown for an extended period. So you wish only the best for Randy Moss on that one. And
was
hope
Randy
he's-
Moss like? Was he a villain when he played? Because
Yeah.
I remember him playing, but I don't remember how he was perceived.
Yeah, bit of a villain, especially that when he pulled his pants or didn't pull his pants
That's
down.
amazing, though.
And Joe Buck said it was the disgusting thing he's ever seen.
Yeah.
I think Joe Buck overreacted.
I think so too.
But yeah, Moss was a sticking in your face guy. Man, he could, because you couldn't cover him. I think his greatest moment was the Dallas game on Thanksgiving when he had like 3 catches for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like everyone was an 80-yarder better than the one before it. Moss, and in a lot of ways, Jerry Rice is always going to be the number 1 receiver until further notice. But the number 2 spot on the all-time career history of the NFL, you got Jerry Rice at 1 receiver. Who's your other one? That's open for debate. And Moss is one of the guys you can debate with. After all.
Would you say he might be one of the most physically gifted NFL
just straight
players
up.
of all time?
Rice had 156 touchdown catches. Number 2, Moss, 147. Anyway.
Didn't do any of that when he was with the 49ers.
Moss?
Yeah.
Did he go to the 49ers?
He did. He played in the Super Bowl against the Ravens.
Wow, he did play for the 49ers.
Maybe 1 or 2 years.
The other team he did nothing for was the Raiders.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah, that threw him back. But then when he got, returned and the Patriots turned him into that machine with 24 touchdown catches?
Yes.
Yeah, Moss was quite the...
That's sad, though.
Quite the player.
Hopefully
so anyway, we
everything's
wish
okay.
the best there to Randy Moss. Padre news on this Friday. You can kind of go into the weekend with this. Half the people think we're getting Sasaki. Half the people think the Dodgers are getting him. And who knows? I guess at the end of this, half of the 50 people or 50% of the people go, "We told you so." And the other 50%, "Well, our sources lied to us, blah, 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 blah." What I say is none of you know, and you're all just flipping a coin and guessing, hoping you'll be right.
How much of Eric Hosmer's admission about the Scott Boras deal, how they try to fake everyone out, do you think that is what's happening? The agent's giving out 2 different...
I'm hoping that it's down to these 2 teams. I mean, honestly.
I'm thinking it is.
I mean,
right?
if it comes out that he goes to the, like I joked earlier, he goes to the Tigers or something, everybody's going to look like a fool.
That would be a
Aren't
random
they?
spot for him, but yeah.
Well, I know it'd be ridiculous. He's not going to go to Detroit.
I really think San Diego...
Maybe he likes Tom Selleck, and they love the hat and Magnum PI back in the day when Selleck wore a Tiger hat.
Maybe.
You never know what's going to win a guy over.
Was Tom Selleck in Mr. Baseball?
He was, but before that, he was Magnum PI, and he always looked good in his Tiger hat.
Tom Selleck's still going strong.
Yes, he is.
I think he's on this show Blue Bloods. I've
Yes,
never watched
he is.
it.
I have
but-
never watched it either.
But I know a lot of people love it.
I'm happy with anybody who's still going strong.
Yes, me too. Chris, Rob Manfred has said that the Golden at Bat rule is not close, everybody.
Good.
He had to, he's
He
heard
finally
the
came
backlash,
clean.
And he came clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous anyway.
Speaking at the Italian American Baseball Foundation, Manfred tried to clarify comments. I know, my voice has done it good for 3 hours. Finally had a hiccup there. But he had to clarify the comments. Last month he made these comments that, there was all this excitement, the golden bat, and everybody's into it, and the buzz. And now he says, no. To go from the conversation stage to this actually happening is a very long road. Well, thank you, Rob. Give Rob Manfred credit. Maybe he's sneaky like a fox. Maybe just felt like baseball getting a little tension here in the month of December. Never had any designs on putting this in.
But the problem with that is that he did the podcast back in October.
Yeah.
So it's not like he...
Right, he wasn't thinking that far ahead.
No,
I get you.
and the podcast didn't even really take off until this week because Jason Stark listened to it and then heard this whole Golden at Bat thing and then made it a big deal.
Yeah, well, the Golden at Bat is never going to happen.
I actually tried to get Sam to come up with some other rules. My rule was like, if you...
you try to change, you make some baseball changes?
Yes. Like, so you get the golden pitch or the golden ball, and that means you declare once per game that when you throw the ball, if the guy swings and misses, he's automatically out. That's it. Also,
So when Ohtani comes up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, you can say, I'm declaring this the golden pitch.
Yep.
If I get one swing and miss, he's out.
Yes, correct.
I think every batter should get one swing, just period.
So
move the
4
game
strikes.
along a little bit.
Oh, you mean they have 1 strike on them already?
No. It's 3 and 2 on every batter. You come up, you get a pitch.
In MLB The Show, they do that.
It's either ball
it's
4
awesome.
or you swing, and that's it. Let's move on.
It would also be like in football.
We've already shortened the game as it is with the invisible runner, so why not shorten some of these at-bats too?
It would be like in football if a team had one, call a game where they can take away a penalty. You know, if like a touchdown happens and they call it back because of holding, like you get one play a game where you don't have to get the penalty.
I think one rule that I would definitely think is actually, because we're talking about stupid stuff that's not going to happen probably.
Yeah.
There is one NFL rule I think could change. I've not heard it even talked about, but I'd like it to change, I think. And that is on a deep pass, if there is truly incidental contact, and the official can rule, he's there, that it's only a 15-yard penalty. I can't stand it when a guy winds up, throws it 70 yards, but underthrows the receiver by 6 yards, and the receiver tries to come back, and the DB is just back there running around and looking for the ball, and there's incidental contact, and now you put the ball at the 2-yard line. That just doesn't seem like a fair penalty.
No, they did it with DeAndre Hopkins during the Black Friday game. Patrick Mahomes slightly underthrew him the ball, and so he stopped, and then the defender ran right into him, and it was penalty. It's like, what?
But you get
it's an underthrown ball.
You get 45 yards for a bad play.
Yeah,
I don't think you deserve that.
In college, it's not like that, right?
No, college is always 15 yards. I think in the NFL, if you deem it to be right, you tackled the guy to keep him from catching the ball, then you can mark it right there at the spot. But otherwise, incidental contact, please.
So in college, is it 15 yards from the line of scrimmage or
Always
15 yards from the
always
spot
15.
of the foul?
In college, if a guy beats you, just grab him because you'll save a big play because it's only a 15-yard penalty. I don't like that either. But I'm just saying, if the NFL, I think, ought to consider that because it's not – I don't like penalties that are not commiserate with the crime. And a bad pass that's underthrown – and a DB turning around to find the ball and brushing the leg of a receiver by accident, to me, is not a 60-yard penalty.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's basically like giving you a touchdown.
It is.
Kind of like I feel about soccer.
Uh-oh.
I know my soccer people. But I've always felt a penalty kick is too big of a penalty. I don't know what the right call is, but if I foul you 1 inch outside the box, nothing.
Yeah.
But if I touch you 1 inch inside the box, it's basically a goal. You're giving them a goal. A goal is too hard to get in soccer without giving one away.
But so they should just tackle you when you're on a breakaway so that you can't score?
Not sure. I don't have the answer.
Here's a rule that
I don't have
like.
the answer, but I tell you who would agree with me right now, Brian Quinn and the USD soccer team.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, they lost their quarterfinal game because of a penalty kick in overtime. Official ruled the penalty kick, and Vermont moved on to the Final Four on a penalty kick.
You're right.
Mark Ziegler wrote the article. I never saw the play, but Ziegler said it was maybe a penalty, maybe not. You certainly hate to see something that inconclusive just send a team right to the Final Four.
Here's a rule that I've always thought was way too harsh, and it's the holding rule in the NFL. 10 yards is overdone. I think that's too much for a holding penalty. It just kills drives, and you can get one holding penalty, and you're first and 20.
I don't think it kills drives anymore because teams throw the football so well. And
10 yards is a lot.
You're going to be shocked to hear this.
Why?
Back in the day, I'm talking the 70s, not black and white TV. No. I'm going back to, the 70s. Holding.
Yeah.
Offense.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty. First down.
Automatic first down?
No. 15 yards on the offense.
Well, that is not. Oh.
You just said 10's too much.
15.
Used to be 15. They changed it to 10.
That's crazy.
That's right.
What about...
And back in those days, team kind of ran 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So if you got a 15-yard holding, you're right. It was time to punt.
Do you think that when they get illegal hands to the face where someone puts their hands up and then it raises someone's helmet, do you think that should be an automatic first down? A lot of the defensive penalties carry with it automatic first down, which is also a huge play.
Well, look, the reason they're not going to change the pass interference thing, as I suggest, is that right now, the way it's written, it is very beneficial for the offense.
Yeah.
And they want rules to benefit the offense.
That's true.
So that's why it won't change.
One last thing before we head to break. Nick says if a ghost runner doesn't score in the inning, then the next inning he moves to third. I like that. Get that game over quick.
Move it along.
Move it along.
Start
with bases loaded. Let's go.
You've had
the entire team is just ghost runners.
It is funny during the regular season we care so little about the game that we actually use a rule to finish the game and just get it over with. That isn't a real rule.
Well,
in the postseason you don't see it.
Well, that makes sense.
But why does it make sense to end a game in some crazy way?
We don't need it. That one game where I was on post game where they were playing the Dodgers. It went to like 16 innings. It took forever. It didn't go to bed till like 2 a.m. Not a fan of that, Chris.
1978 was the year the NFL reduced yardage for holding from 15 to 10.
15 is crazy.
Well, you just said 10 was crazy.
It is, but 15's like...
I'm telling you, if it used to be a 15er. Traffic is now, and then Gwynn and Chris resumes.
From the
Skraby, I haven't chosen one yet, though. I think I'm going to go Miles Byrd. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Matt Snyder was good, but my voice was bad. Hey, everybody. I don't want to hear that again. I could not talk.
No, you tried your hardest.
I tried, but it wasn't working. Yesterday, I wasn't on, thanks to Sam Levitt for filling in. Boise State, UNLV, neither team scored on its first possession in the Mountain West Championship game. Tulane Army, Tulane lined up for a field goal on its first possession and fumbled the snap.
It was funny.
The Army guy drove on it like it was a hand grenade lying on the turf there.
I don't think he really know what to do with it.
He didn't quite know what to do. He had no kick to try and block.
Yeah, and the kicker was like making his approach. So what, am I going to get kicked in the face here?
He wasn't sure what to do. So we'll keep an eye on those. Do you want the bad news or the bad news, Scrape? Either one. You pick one.
I want the better of the bad news.
The better of the bad news, Clay Holmes, reliever, New York Yankees, now 3 years, $138 million?
No, not that much.
Oh.
3 years, $38 million.
Sorry, $13 million a year, becomes a New York Metropolitan.
And
Clay Holmes and they're going to move him into a starting role. Clay Holmes does not have to change residence, really. Just has to change subways that he takes to the game.
Did you see, side note, it's Friday, my brain is crazy. Did you see Eli Manning for the first time of his life took the subway the other day? And he tweeted a picture of him in the subway. No one believes him, but I totally believe him. Eli Manning could not go on the subway without getting mobbed when he was playing there in New York.
Was he able to go without getting mobbed the other day?
I think it was fine, but it was just funny that no one believed him that he never took the subway when he lived in New York.
It is pretty convenient, I'll tell you. You learn the subway system, you don't need a car. You don't need anything. You can get anywhere.
Although it's very hot there during the summer.
Down in the subway area?
Hot, very hot.
True. All right, so that's one bad news. Here's your other one.
This is the worst one.
Yeah, for the third straight game, Trent Williams will be out for the Niners.
I thought you were talking about Shane Bieber going back to the Guardians.
No, Shane Bieber did go back to the Guardians. I just overlooked that bad news. For this one, Niners officially ruled Williams out on Friday. Now, somebody had a stat up the other day. 49ers with Trent Williams, 49-28. Without him, 3-8. 3-8. This is the great 49ers. And this is what Tony says. And you argue with him. But he says Trent Williams, most important player to the 49ers. It's hard to argue when you see how mediocre they are when he doesn't play.
He is, but I'm so happy that he held out this offseason to get more money just so he could be injured.
At least he's trying to play. He's just hurt.
Is he?
Unlike your other guy.
I also know that he had some pretty crazy news happen this week.
Some
with his
really
family.
sad news.
So
Come on.
I don't want to go too hard on him.
Don't go hard on a guy who lost a child in childbirth. Come on.
I'm not going to. But yeah, I mean those numbers tell you a story, and I can't argue with them. And he is their enforcer. He kind of gives them a little bit of an edge, and when you run to his side, he blocks two people at a time.
Got some swag.
He does.
Is it swag or shag or toughness? I guess it's swag. 49ers play the Bears this week. I will say, if you lose to the Bears, Skraby, that's kind of I don't know what's a bigger indignity, losing to the Bears or the Dolphins losing to Aaron Rodgers this week. So I guess we're kind of still in the same boat. We have the same record and we have the same, potential, demise coming this weekend.
Where is it?
Dolphins are home.
Okay.
Which means that when they play the Jets in 3 weeks, it'll be in the cold, and you know what'll happen there.
Are you interested in this Aaron Rodgers documentary that's coming out on Netflix? I'm going to watch it.
Why don't you tell me how it is?
I think I'm going to actually probably like it.
He annoys me so much. I don't know that I want to watch a whole documentary about the guy.
I mean, it goes through his whole ayahuasca thing.
Well, I'm not interested in that.
I think it's kind of interesting to see it happen. But
glad you like it.
Yeah, Shailene Woodley though, not a fan of Aaron Rodgers anymore.
Well, they don't date
go
anymore,
out. But apparently, he ruined her life, is what she said.
He's ruining a lot of New York Jets fans' lives right now, so he's kind of leading the league in that category.
He's unlikely to be back next year. So,
all right, when we come back, the Aztec basketball This is before they played Fresno, but Miles Bird is really good. Talks about their big win over Houston and this season, which is looking to be pretty darn exciting. What's coming up?
Ben and Woods.
Welcome back to 97.3 The Dan. That's right. I missed it while I was away. The last couple of days, Skraby changed the name of the station.
Oh, man.
It's right here on my sheet. Here, I'll show you people that are watching on YouTube. Can people see this?
Yeah.
Let me see. I can call it up myself. All right, let me see if I can get it into focus.
There it is.
Wait. I'm struggling.
You're showing the wrong piece of the page.
That's right here. 97.3 The Dan.
Oh, there it is. There
it is. 97.3 The Dan instead of 97.3 The Fan.
Yes.
Skraby, changing the name of our station.
Yep.
Where's the Buffalo Wild Wings thing? I know
It's
you want me to read it, but
5
here it
p.m.
is.
Yes.
Oh, it's the 5 o'clock football hour. Of course it is. It's presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. B-Dubs is football. Visit Buffalo Wild Wings every Friday. That's today. Get half-priced apps. Guess that's appetizers, right?
Yeah.
And $2 off all trawl drafts.
I am hungry right now. I got another hour and a half.
Quick scoreboard check. Army 7, Tulane 0, first quarter. Boise State 7, UNLV 0, first quarter. All right, college basketball. It's been, I think, a good start to the season. If you're the Aztecs especially. You've played Creighton. You've beaten them, and then they whipped number 1 Kansas. You played Gonzaga, who was number 3 at the time. And, you weren't embarrassed. You lost, but you also were missing 2 of your star players. And then you play Houston, the number 6 team, with like everybody on their team returning from last year. And you beat them in overtime. You come from behind to win. You also play an Oregon team that, Skrabe, I don't know, based on accomplishments, Oregon maybe should be the number 1 team in the nation. Remember, the way they are now, Kansas and Duke and all, it's all because that's the way they start in the preseason. Oregon has beaten like 7 good teams already. Anyway, the Aztecs lost to them. But you played 4 teams against arguable top 10 teams already. That's fun for us to see you play those games. And even better to win 2 of them and be ranked yourself. One of the leaders of this team is Miles Bird. He visited with Tony I earlier this week. You'll hear it after traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a collision southbound 15 before the 52 that is blocking the fast lane. Looks like several vehicles, including a motorcycle, involved in that. December nights in full swing in Balboa Park. That southbound side of the 163, definitely feeling it. There is a crash clearing right before the 5, everything over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Aztecs, number 24 Aztecs, back in action.
Too low, Tony.
It is too low. It is too low.
Our next guest is going to do something about that.
No doubt about it. He's already done a lot of work here in the short season to this point.
Yeah.
Miles Bird joins us here, guard, 6'7" guard for the Aztecs. Miles, how are you, my friend?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Of course, sir.
I'm trying to figure out where we start. Let's just start at the last game. You guys are going up against a tough Houston team. Just from a physicality standpoint, you guys matched them all game, but when it came down to crunch time, the ball was in your hands, and you made a couple nice plays, including a reverse lefty layup. Just talk about that game and getting to that point in the game where you just knew it was time for you to do work.
Yeah, I think when you play in a game for so long, I think I logged 37 minutes of that game. You kind of get more and more comfortable as the game goes on. You start to realize what they're giving and what they're not giving. And, I knew they were blasting the ball screens the whole entire game. So once I blasted, I just went back to where the big was trying to get back to our big, and he happened to not see me yet. So it gave me the opportunity to Euro step and get to the right side of the hoop. But, I loved how we came out and played against the big physical Houston team. They're notorious for being a defensive rebounding team just like us. And I wouldn't say just because they're a power conference that they get more respect, but, I think on the national side, they get a lot more looks than us. So I'm glad we were able to kind of show that we're the same exact type of brand, and that's what our program stands for.
Yeah, we've been more successful than they have in March, too. So let's not forget that. Miles Bird is with us. Miles, how do you guys get the belief that you can go beat the number 6 team in the nation when you're just coming together as a squad? To me, you have to believe you can win before you can win. I know you guys came home after the Oregon game and then went back to Las Vegas. Take us through those 48 hours and what the coaches said, what you guys said amongst yourselves going into that Houston game to say, we're not going to back down.
Yeah, I think, one, for us, I don't think that there's anybody in our organization that had a single thought that we were going to lose the game. We're a confident group. We're young, got a little bit of swagger to us. So I think every single time we step on the court, I know if we have our group together, we think that we have a great chance to go win a game. But I think coming home for, looking at it, my parents live in Vegas. Taj, Pharaoh's family's from Vegas. So, at first, I was a little frustrated that we were leaving, that we weren't staying in Vegas. Like, I wanted to be with my family. They were all out there. My grandmother was out there and stuff. So it would have been some good family time. But looking back at it, I think we benefited the most from it, just because when we were in the MGM the first few days during the tournament, I didn't even see the sun outside. Like I didn't step outside not one time, because you're walking straight from your room down to like the little bottom of the floor where the arena is.
Yeah.
So we're staying inside the casino the whole time, and I think it was just beneficial for us to get back to our own beds, have a good team meal on Thanksgiving, and get some team time. Everybody else was still stuck in Vegas, not leaving their hotel, I would assume. So we were able to kind of get more refreshed, and we looked a lot more fresh than a lot of other teams that ended up staying out there.
You really did. It was noticeable in the game against Houston as well. Aztec guard Miles Bird joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And Miles, I was unfortunate. You mentioned swag. I unfortunately missed the interview last year, but I went back and listened to it. And one of the things that stood out in that interview last year was you just seemed like a dude that was really confident and was just waiting for your opportunity. You fast forward to this year, and some injuries have kind of, I think, thrust you a little bit further to one of the guys that I think Dutch looks to. Where did that confidence come from, and how have you been able to really grow it into this role that you're in this year, which is a lot different than the role you were in last year?
Yeah, I think confidence just really stems from hard work. I've been around basketball my whole entire life. My dad was a Division I basketball coach, so I was pretty much born in the game. And I feel like I've watched so much basketball that it's hard for me not to be confident. I know what I'm capable of on the court. I know what my teammates are capable of, and I think we just go out there and we execute the game plans that our coaches give us, which is, normally crystal clear and perfect for our opponent. And, when you have a good preparation and you have a lot of hard work that you put in, it's hard not to be confident.
It's a left-handed thing, Tony. You wouldn't understand.
Definitely, lefties do it better.
There you go, buddy. Miles Bird is our guest. Miles, at the end of last season, and you guys get the Sweet 16, and then you say goodbye, to Jaden LeDee and everybody else. How are you feeling and thinking about this upcoming season? And then, Dutch and everybody goes out, gets all these guys to come in. B.J. Davis now has emerged.
Yeah,
how did you think?
Amazing for us
Yeah,
to do.
right. Yeah, how did you think then, and how do you think now?
I think that mentally it was never any worry about what we were going to look like on the court. I've said this multiple times the past few weeks. Like we're a Coach Brian Dutcher-led team, and I've been fortunate to be here for 3 summers, so I know the type of preparation that summer is looking like, and I know we're going to be a good team every single year. So for me, it was mostly just the fact that I had just lost some of my closest friends that I've been in college with, been away from my family with for the past 2 years. So I would say that was the biggest adjustment for me, trying to build stronger connections with the new guys. But I think we're molding super well, and I think the sky's the limit for what we got going on over here. Ranked top 25. If you would have told us that this summer that we wouldn't have Reese for this early stretch in the year and we're still a top 25 team, a lot of people probably look at you crazy. I would have looked at you with a smile and been like, I knew that.
And there's that confidence once
Yes.
again. Miles Bird joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And Miles, you know, you talked about that preparation that you guys have, and it seems like Dutch keeps us at bay every year. You know, wait until the calendar turns, and that's when we'll be playing our best. I think you guys have kind of changed that expectations after this past weekend. You beat Creighton by 18. You beat a team like Houston. Does that shift anything from you guys thinking, or this is just business as usual? And not only that, this could be considered somewhat of a trap game after going from Houston to playing Fresno State here. How do you guys regroup and kind of set your sights on Fresno State here tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, just helping out the newer guys, you know, we got some guys who come from conferences where the bottom teams normally are teams that aren't very competitive. But I mean, in the Mountain West, no matter where you're playing at, any away game, any home game is going to be a competitive game. So just kind of remind these guys that this isn't the easy one coming up tomorrow. You know, Fresno's gotten a week to prepare for us, so you know that they're going to come in that game ready, especially on their home court. But yeah, I think we just have a mindset as a team that, like, I mean, you know, we might get that national recognition now, being ranked top 25, but I mean, we still haven't earned anything. You know, we still got a lot of work to do this season. Still got a lot of games this season, and every game is getting us ready for ultimate goal, which is March Madness. So I think just come in every day without an ego, and you know, just get to work.
Yeah, he sounds like a guy that plays on a really successful team. He does. I mean, you know, they're taught well. You know, the coaches. You know, we have these guys on the coaches, and we get where they're coming from, and the message seems to get through. How much motivation did you guys get, if any, on being picked fourth in the league? On being not ranked at all, not thought of at all. You talked about it. I mean, Houston gets so much more play. San Diego State goes to the final game, Sweet 16, and then everybody says they're going to finish fourth. Do you guys think about that, or do you use that? Does Dutch and stuff use that?
I mean, you know, you hear about it. I heard about it a good amount of times, and some of the interviews I was doing early in the year, they would ask me about it. But I mean, I wouldn't say we come into practice every day with a marker on the whiteboard saying they picked us ranked fourth. You know, I think we're very confident in the group that we have. I think you know, we know that when we attack every day that we're only going to get better. So yeah, I mean, you can look at it a little bit, but at the end of the day, I don't think that flies through my head any single time on a game day.
Well, Miles, you guys are off to a terrific start. Game tomorrow. We certainly we'll continue to love watching you guys get better and better as this year goes along. Good luck tomorrow, and we'll catch up soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, Miles. Thanks.
Miles Bird.
We really appreciate Miles. Keeps on winning games like that. Aztecs would beat Fresno, as you know, on Wednesday night. That was the conference opener, by the way, which is a little weird. You play the conference opener, then you go back into some non-conference games.
Ben Higgins, I was listening to them that morning.
Ben
and
have an explanation?
He was saying because they play extra games now in conference that they had to fit them in somewhere.
Right. There's no there used to be you play everybody twice, except for there was two teams you played once every year. And then this year they voted, and the Aztecs were always in favor of keeping it that way, because they wanted the extra games to schedule non-conference, improve their strength of schedule. But the Aztecs were outvoted, and so this year you have to play 2 games against everybody. So, yeah, that's why.
Do they, I was thinking about this, do they fly to Fresno, or are they busing to Fresno? They fly.
The girls, the women.
For everyone out there who didn't see him, he flapped his wings.
I did my Seahawk thing.
So
yeah,
you guys fly.
Yeah, we fly.
All right. I didn't know.
The women's team flies, so I'm assuming the men's team flies. I'm not privy to that always.
Where do you guys bus to?
Next week, Fullerton.
Okay.
For instance.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fresno's pretty far.
Fresno is about a 5.5-hour bus ride.
It's
a little tough to get off the bus and play, and then bus home. You can play a game at 7 p.m. Game's over at 9. You don't get home till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
By the way, how about a little credit to our fine friends in Fresno? Huh?
Oh, yes.
How about a little credit to our fine friends in Fresno? A round of applause to be sure, honoring Uncle Teddy at the game the other night. It was his final visit with the Aztecs.
Hurt the pelota big time.
That's right.
Here's a concept. Bite me.
No, that's not nice, Ted. They were honoring you out there. Come on.
Yeah.
That was a really
cool.
nice thing.
It is a very nice thing.
Right? It was his last appearance there with the Aztecs in his final season, doing play-by-play basketball. So the folks in Fresno honored him with a nice little halftime thing and I think a plaque or something.
Hopefully,
very nice.
I mean, he's been getting to see some pretty deep runs in the NCAA tournament recently.
No
so
kidding,
hopefully he's
man.
going to get one this year too.
And I've talked to him about it. He was fond of saying that he was the most losingest broadcaster in the history of sports, between the Padres, Aztec football, and Aztec basketball. And he was right. For many, many years, those teams just did nothing but lose. But the Aztecs football finally got really good the last decade before this. And the basketball team's been obviously incredible.
Yeah.
So I think, he feels a lot more fulfilled now, and that's a good thing.
I mean, that would be hard.
Yes, it would. You
to see a bunch of losing teams your entire
It does. It wears on you as a broadcaster. People may not think so, but, you can't help but get caught up in a little bit when you travel with, especially young people, students.
You cheer for them.
Student athletes. You cheer for them. You get to know them, get to meet them, you get to, find out what their interests are. Yeah, you want to see good things happen for them.
Yeah.
Here's the other question that we were talking about today at the women's game. Does every other team in the conference now have to step up and honor Ted since Fresno did?
That's a great question. I
think you're going to look bad if you don't honor him now.
But how many of these teams have seen Ted for
All
as
of
long
them.
as Fresno
Wyoming.
has?
I mean, they've been going to Wyoming for 50 years. They've been going to
That's a good
Boise.
point.
They've been going to Colorado State, Air Force. These schools have all been in the conference for years and years. Ted, I think you're going to get a farewell tour, my friend.
So you think all of a sudden they're like, oh, man, thanks, Fresno.
Yeah, right. Now we got to come up with something.
Well, he deserves it.
Sure he does.
You should.
So good job by you folks at Fresno on that one.
Yeah,
nice touch.
Yeah, we'll give you a pat on the back for that one.
We are. We don't hand out pat on the backs very often on this show. What's coming up on the Skraby Chronicles, Scrabe? Anything you want to promote? Or are you just going to let it rip?
We talked about everything today, but we're going to talk about Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber. We'll talk about Clay Holmes. But I watched this documentary on Mount Everest last night, on climbing Mount Everest on
Sir
YouTube.
Edmund Hillary?
No.
Oh.
Which, by the way, I cannot believe after watching this that someone did it back in the day. Because this guy was saying, you can't even breathe at the top of the mountain because
Sir
there's no
Edmund
oxygen.
Hillary pulled it off, man. He was the first guy up there.
But
I think he was known as Edmund Hillary at the time. Then when he came back down, they bestowed upon him the knighthood. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he was a sir before he went up.
It's called The Horrible Truth About Climbing Mount Everest is the documentary if you want to search it on YouTube. But basically, this guy who's like a special forces guy, he was asked to do this by this documentary crew. And he said it was the hardest thing he's ever done in his entire life. And he's been in combat zones. He said he was more scared of dying on that mountain than when he was in combat and having bullets whizzed by his head. But there's one factor of this that surprised me more than anything, and I'll tell you about that.
All right, it's coming up on the Skraby Chronicles. That and more sports talk. Army's in the end zone again, leading Tulane 14-0. Gwynn and Chris, thanks for being with us this week. We'll talk to you Monday. Enjoy the sports weekend.